right. Patches, talk so we can make sure we can hear you.
Oh, are you sure? You really want me to talk?
1,000% I want you to talk. 1,000%.
Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the last time I heard Patches say that was when we argued about DC.
Okay.
So that did scare me just a hint.
Oh.
Just a hint.
Yeah, you're like, wow, he's an angry elf.
1,000. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. We are good. Welcome everybody to our first ever episode of Galactic Review. This is the show where we will come together every Wednesday or whenever they drop all these Star Wars shows coming out next year and break down Star Wars shows like we did the Marvel shows all year this year. I completely forgot. I was telling everyone yesterday, I forgot how close Book of Boba was. So last week when Witcher came out, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to stretch this because I have nothing else till next month. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Book of Boba. Like, I completely forgot about you, Boba. I'm so sorry. So we had to put together a Galactic Council to break down this first episode of Book of Boba, starting off with Trayvon. What's up, Trayvon? KJ!
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here. I am the baby Star Wars fan here, I guess you could say. So I'm kind of watching this with not that much knowledge about it, but I've heard of the character, of course, and I was very curious about the show. So I'm looking forward to learning today more than anything. So
okay, yeah. And I told you, Trayvon, I will not stop till you. Ash is caught up. I'm sorry. You, Jamie, and Shekinah watch all of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Watch all of it. I will not stop until you guys do that, and then Rebels. So
I've seen Rebels.
Can make more sense.
I've seen Rebels. So
you've seen Rebels.
Yeah, I've seen Rebels.
Oh, okay.
And none of Rebels made you want to go back to Clone Wars.
It didn't like. I don't know. I just didn't know enough of it to like. Oh, let's go to Clone Wars. It's not.
I got you.
Like, it didn't do that to me. It didn't make me like, oh, I don't understand anything. It didn't do that to me. It was fine.
Yeah. All right, I got you. And welcoming in Patches and KJ. How you guys doing?
Wow, so good to see you. I miss you.
Long time, yeah. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
It has. Tomorrow's the wrap party for season 1 of Paranormal Crossroad, and then I'll be back to being nerdy with you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you. Also, congrats. Again, I can't tell you how huge that is on your own show. That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to leave this guy to the Star Wars stuff. Although I will tell you, I loved every second of it. It was so Star Warsy.
Yes.
Like it was just so Star Wars. It was awesome. So that's all I got. I'll leave you guys. Good night. I'll see you again soon.
Yes, let the Galactic Council talk.
Sorry.
It was good seeing you. But no, that is true. It did feel like Star Wars was back. Like oh yeah, this is Star Wars. But also,
and even the opening credits. I mean, like when the Star Wars banner came across, I was like, ooh, that's nice. I like that. Let's keep doing that.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least, welcoming in Joel. What's up, Joel?
What's up, everybody?
And Joel has watched Clone Wars. So I don't have to get him caught up. Patches, you finished it. Did you finish up Rebels this year?
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
Yeah,
right?
it was Clone Wars. We have yet to tackle the task that is Star Wars Rebels.
Okay. I just want to throw in before we get into Book of Boba. The Ahsoka series will literally make absolutely no sense to you if you have not finished Rebels.
Okay.
Like you'll maybe notice some of the familiar faces or whatnot,
right?
But some of the emotions, some of the relationships, some of the arcs. Like if you watch Rebels, seeing the Mandalorian and seeing someone with the dark saber that wasn't the specific person who should have it.
So fun.
It was so confusing.
So excited.
You go, well, I remember the end of, and I'm not spoiling anything. I'm leaving important stuff out, but you watch the end of Rebels and you go, okay, this person has it. Then you get to the end of the first season of The Mandalorian and you're like, okay, hold on. wait a minute, I'm so confused. Like, are they going to fill in the gaps of what happened? And then you get season 2 of The Mandalorian. And you're like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. So, yeah. But yeah, all right. So you're going to get to Rebels at some point. Trayvon, It is a long Clone Wars journey. It's like 6 seasons. One of them.
Dude, pack a bag. Seriously.
Pack a bag. I will say, though, the Yoda season, unless you have an interest in knowing more about the history of the Sith, it's such an unnecessary season to sit through. So when you get close to that point, I'll definitely kind of talk to you about it. Joel, that was a season where, remember, it was like 5 or 6 episodes, and it was just Yoda going through the history of the Sith.
It was like the last couple episodes and before the new one came back.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But that's how it's weird. It's how it ended, honestly. And then it came back.
That was weird. I literally thought that was the last of Clone Wars. What? Like, what even came from that?
It's interesting shit. Like, especially
it is right.
Probably come in handy in the future.
Right.
I wouldn't tell you to skip it by any means.
Episode 10.
Well,
episode 10 of the show.
You're on episode 10?
Yeah.
Clone Wars?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've
the
got
problem with Clone Wars is there's a way of watching it, and there's a way.
I know. I saw that, but I was like,
And remember what I told you before, Trayvon? I told you and kind of the same thing. Don't follow that. Just watch it from season 1 all the way through to the current season. If you know the movies, when you get to certain points, everything will just make sense. You know what I'm saying? But to watch the movies, then watch the show, then watch another movie, like, it's too much. That'll make someone hate Clone Wars.
I rewatched it in the correct order, because I did watch it the first time, just watching it, and then I rewatched it in the correct order before the new season came back. That's what I did.
Right. If you've seen it before and wanted to do that, I would say, yeah, no problem. But if it's your first time getting into Clone Wars, I would tell you there's just so many episodes. It'll cause more problems.
It's mainly the first 3 seasons. The rest after that, it's not that big a difference.
Well, in the last season.
Yeah, well, the last season is
the last season is literally just
new season.
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that's Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. But all right, so let's get into Book of Boba. This was awesome. This was an awesome feel to get back into Star Wars. I tell you what, I want to give Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni a lot of credit. With these shows, obviously taking out Mandalorian season 2 for 2 episodes, but they're making me not crave lightsabers. Don't get me wrong. I need it. But they're not making me say, like, bro, like, I don't care about all this. Like, get me to a lightsaber. Like, to me, I'm like, I love this whole world.
Or just a saber.
Outside. Or just a saber, right?
Yeah. Maybe a dark saber. Who cares?
Or just someone who uses the Force but doesn't have a lightsaber. But it's making me crave a galaxy that exists outside of just the Force. You know what I'm saying? So you get to this and it's just like, Star Wars is back. Like, the true essence of Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go into it and then pass it to you first, Joel. But the part that had me I couldn't stop. I had to pause it because I just couldn't stop laughing. Is when Fennec goes, no. He wants you to give him tribute. And Boba goes, all right, hold on. I'm confused. Like, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Excuse me? Like, and then Fennec's just like, yeah, you probably want to go back and tell your boss your
tribute. Was very bold.
Well, look, he's a messenger.
Very bold.
But here's the thing, though, Trayvon. Here's what I always loved about Star Wars and having errand boys like that. He knew that if he went back and didn't give the message, he'd be in just as much trouble as going there and giving the message. So it's a lose-lose. So you might as well just give it in hopes that whoever you're giving it to fears whoever you work for more than anything else. Yeah. So I loved seeing him in that uncomfortable position of just like, well, I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. So, give me your money. Like, it's like, I'm sorry. Did you want to leave with a laser?
He was like, one more thing. I was like, Brian, sir, What are you doing? Like, what do you mean one more thing? What do you
Gonna
mean?
help.
Like, no more
I'm
things.
Very
telling
nice
you.
about all that.
And what works so well of having Finnick with Boba is Finnick is what Boba used to be when he was younger. Boba was always, I will shoot you first, and then we can talk. Finnick is very much so, Boba, just let me kill him. Finnick, we can't just kill everybody. Like, relax. like calm down for just 1 second. Let's see what he wants to say. And Finnick's just like, no, let me stab him. Let's just move on.
Well, and like in the scene when they were chasing those assassins, he's like, Finnick, alive.
Right. And I love how she looks at the two of them and he goes, and she goes in her head, like she didn't say it, but she goes in her head. Well, I think he only needed one.
Right.
But the funny thing is, but when he said that though, he shot the guy with the rocket right before that, and
he only did that because he knew there were three of them. He knew there were three.
But I'm saying he told her alive, but
yeah,
I mean somebody. So I was like,
at Boba's core, he's a killer. Like at his core, that's just who he is. He's gonna kill somebody. But no, I loved it. I loved it in patches while Joel steps away. I'll start with you. Like, was it fulfilling to have answers to how this man even escaped that Sarlacc pit?
Yeah, actually, I mean, that's the coolest thing I've always loved about Boba. Not only, I mean, obviously he's a badass, but he's a blue collar badass, right? He's not afraid to put the work in, and he's gonna, like he doesn't stop. He's gonna, if he doesn't like it, he's gonna find a way no matter what. Like even when he was dead in the desert, and you just tied to a stake, he's just like, nope, we're gonna do something about this. What's my way out? We're gonna keep going. We're gonna do more. We're gonna work through this, and we're gonna make it right. And that's getting out of the Sarlacc pit. It's like, what do I have at my disposal? Like ripping out that air hose, and giving himself fresh air from that stormtrooper. That was fantastic. And then just working through, and then I mean, and it's again, like seeing the Jawas. I hate those bastards. Just ripping all his armor and then everything he's going through with the Tusken Raiders. You're like, damn. I mean, like this guy. I mean, you always knew Boba was a badass, but you're like, wow, he. After season 2 Mandalorian, you're like, oh, you haven't lost a step. So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
So my only concern is because of everything he's gone through, and I'm sure it's going to be addressed as the series keeps going. The healing chamber that he has, like he was, in a very short fight, which I mean, he was in the desert without anything in Mandalorian, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in this moving forward, how dependent is he going to be? Because he was in a short little skirmish in town. Right. So, and he had to get back to that chamber that quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are his limits going to be?
I think in the Mandalorian season 2, a lot of that fight that you're referring to, when Baby Yoda was making his long distance phone call, a lot of that was long distance. So that was a lot of laser firing, a lot of shooting off his missile. Not a lot of it was close range. Not a lot of it. I'm not saying none of it was. So it seems like shorter distance fights where he has to really exert energy. Is just
more
like
hand to hand and everything.
Right.
Okay. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that seems like they're trying to tell you like Boba is still one of the greatest bounty hunters of all time, but he has gotten old. So that was Boba's way of saying like, oh goodness, it's like playing pickup with like your dad in the driveway, and then he goes. Right. Oof. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. And you're just like, we did 3 dribbles. What is your problem? Yeah. He's like, look, I'm old now. Like, give me a second. let me catch my breath.
But see, that's going to be a work smarter, not harder. I feel like leading in, like to like playing games, like with your dad at their age, like he's going to pick beer pong later on, right? Because he knows he can still whoop your ass and drink you under the table. So it's working smarter, not harder, right?
Yep. And that's why I love the first thing Boba did was try to send off like a bomb to like blow everything up to try to diffuse it immediately. And when that didn't work, he was just like, oh God. Like,
yep, here we go.
Can you maybe take on 8 guys at once? No? Okay. All right. Well, this is gonna be a lot. Like I swear Boba in that moment felt like whatever guy dates Ronda Rousey, and then you get in a bar fight, and then you just look at it and you're like, can you fight 8 people at once? No. All right. I think maybe I have like 4 good punches in me I can maybe help you out with. That's what Boba turned into, where Finnick was just like, all right, Boba, I am getting destroyed here. What's going on? And then you see the bodyguards come up and you're like, thank goodness. Like, where were y'all?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They took a long time. They were right there. I was like, where were you? It's like they waited. It was like, let's see. They're dying. Okay, let's go.
I will say this, to be fair, I have seen a fight before where it did take a second to process that a fight was happening right before me. Before like everything in the brain clicked, like, bro, like do something. Like it's going down. That's probably what they were thinking, like, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Like, hold on.
And it took about 5 minutes though.
But to be fair, as you saw in the beginning, they weren't the most excited to be working.
True.
So that was probably them deciding, like, let me see if they can kill Boba real quick. Oh no, they can't. All right, let me jump in there.
Oh, he's holding his own. No, it's gonna be worse if we don't.
Right? Yeah. If Boba survives, he'll kill us. So all right.
Yeah.
Like, dang, why couldn't y'all just kill him immediately? Like, y'all shocking me. But no, I mean that was awesome. And then look, Finnick is a relatively new character. So to see her play out in Bad Batch and then see her play out in The Mandalorian, and see that character really kind of expand is awesome. And look, I love how, because if you watch Clone Wars, you've seen how Boba went from almost destroying a Starfleet, to then starting to mellow down as you got further down the seasons, when you started working with Asajj Ventress and whatnot. So when you see him here and he's saying, I want to rule by respect, not by fear. That 10-year-old Boba who tried to kill Mace Windu would not have done the same thing. He would have came in and murdered everybody. So that's why I appreciate Finnick being that essence of that younger Boba, to where she's just like, all right, we probably should kill them. We should kill her. We most definitely should kill them. And Boba's just like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, relax, Finnick, okay? Let's calm down. And she just kept getting angrier and angrier, where he's just like, no, it's okay. Let's skip that. And she's just like, oh God.
I'm waiting for that. I told you so.
It's coming. This is how I know it's coming, Trayvon. She had a I told you so 8 different times within the first 20 minutes of this episode. She's just like, I'm telling you, that's going to be a problem later. All right, I'm telling you, that's going to be a problem later. And he's just like, I don't care right now, whatever. But Joel, what were your thoughts? And I'll kind of mirror kind of what I asked Patches. What were your thoughts on this episode? But most specifically, getting our answers to how the man even escaped the Sarlacc pit. Like, because it shouldn't have been something easy. So I liked seeing that it was a lot to try to get out of that thing.
It was great. I think it was a great first episode. Let me say the score was really good. I really enjoyed the score. That's important because that's what I really liked about the Mandalorian was the score. And so the score really hit for me too in this. So I'm like, when I'm humming it at the end, I'm like, this is good. But I loved seeing him come out, like showing him how he got out of the Sarlacc, because for that forever, you're wondering if he is alive, right? Because that wasn't canon for the longest time. Was he alive or not? We didn't no idea. But now that he is alive, how the fuck did he get out? Right? You wonder that. Not everybody needed to know, but I was one of those people that like, well, I want to see it now. Like, how'd you get out of there? That's not easy to get out of. And I loved it. I loved the whole experience of him seeing the stormtrooper and using his oxygen to bring out awesome, flaming his way out of that motherfucker. That was great. I loved all of it. Coming out of the sand and then him getting jacked by the little Jabba thingies, whatever I forgot what they're called. Jawas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really think wherever the Jawas are is the hood of the Star Wars universe. Like it has. They will jack your stuff without even thinking twice. They didn't even check to see if he was dead. They just started pulling off. They were just like, "Well, if he's alive,
yes."
Like, as you saw with Mando in season one. In season 1, they will jack everything, man. Everything. Like they're the type of people that will take your hubcaps but leave the car. And it's like, dog, what? Why would you do that? What's the purpose? Like, I don't care. Anything shiny, give me.
Oh, God.
They're no joke. The channel are no joke. They'll take your shit. And I appreciate that. They took it. Now we know why, it's missing.
Right. And how it ended up in the wrong hands.
Well, absolutely. Then that explains that. Then we find out he gets taken by the Tusken Raiders and it's basically enslaved, and he looks real fucking choppy. Poor guy. I mean, how did he not die at that point? Like, that was bad. I was like, I was like, okay, this is how you knew Boba has mellowed. When he frees himself after choking out that little lizard thing, and he looks over to the dude and he's like, do you want me to free you? And he starts screaming. The old Boba would have went, snap. All right, enough of that. This Boba was just like, shut up. Hey, shut up. I'm trying to help you. Like, shut up. He's been through some
yeah, so he's been through some stuff. And I also like that they show, obviously he hasn't had food, water, so that lends to it. But I also like that it's shown he's been through a lot. Because when those guys lined up and started beating on him, like it kind of showed you he's not the same badass you remember. He still is a badass, just not the same one you remember. Because he's just been through so much. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I did appreciate seeing that a lot, and seeing him come out the Sarlacc pit makes me appreciate even more the finale of The Mandalorian season 2, where clearly Boba didn't know this would happen. But it's still funny to me that Boba managed to not be in the same room as Luke Skywalker. That will forever be the funniest coincidence in Star Wars history. That I'm sure when Mando tells Boba, Boba's gonna be like, no. Luke Skywalker is still alive? God damn. Like, all right, do me a favor, Mando. If you ever see him again, don't ever tell him that you know me, that I'm alive. Nothing. Tell him nothing. And he's like, damn, you really scared of this guy, huh? Yes. Yes, you should be too.
Man, a Sarlacc pit. You don't know what it took to get out of that pit.
Yeah, man. Like, goodness gracious. I came out of here. I got carjacked. Like, it was horrible, man. Couldn't drink water for days.
They took my hubcaps.
They took my hubcaps. Like, everything, man.
It was bad.
Went through some shit.
Like, how long is it from Return of the Jedi to Mandalorian again?
Oh God, I don't even know. I don't even want to lie to you. I don't remember. I don't remember at all.
Not that long.
No. It's not actually. Yes, because okay, so I'm theorizing here, but we're assuming Boba was probably in his 30s in Return of the Jedi. He has to be in his 50s in Book of Boba.
Yeah, but Luke isn't that old. You know what I'm saying?
He isn't. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Boba's way older because Boba came in during Clones.
That's right.
I mean, he was a kid during Clones.
That's right.
Well,
he was one of the original clones, so that wasn't a clone.
That's why I said it would make sense that he's probably in like his mid to late 30s.
No, he's probably older than that.
Damn. All right, Joe. Let me ask you, because you're supposed to know this. Yeah. What's the timeline between Return of the Jedi to The Mandalorian?
I was thinking about that earlier. I think, what was it, within 5 years?
I think it was 5 years. You know how you know? Because these fuckers were old as shit, the clones and Rebels. So imagine, you know what I mean?
Oh, fair. Oh Jesus! Then what is Rex gonna look like if he pops up in Ahsoka? Oh my god!
Exactly. What's all about
Jesus.
from there?
Walker, maybe? I don't know.
Wow. I can't even.
Because remember, there's a theory that Rex or one of the guys from Bad Batch, that clone, the group of clones was in Return of the Jedi. It was just that old guy.
Oh yeah, right. That's supposedly Rex, apparently.
Yeah, Rex.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I thought it was
And
Rex.
who was it in Return of the Jedi?
It's like a retcon thing. Obviously, at the point when they were filming Return of the Jedi, that character wasn't ever created.
Right.
But there was an older one of the guys that went with Leia and Han and Luke to the moon of Endor.
Mm-hmm.
One of the older whatever they are, the ground.
Oh,
troops.
one of the ground troops.
Because he was older and he looked, there was a theory that he was Rex, and I think Lucasfilm was going with that.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, anyone who knows Dave Filoni, if Dave Filoni can slip some Dave Filoni shit into the lore of Star Wars, he will. He will. I mean, we have to thank Dave Filoni for still having Darth Maul. Shit, without Dave Filoni, Darth Maul would have been dead and gone with Lucas in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, he would have been one and done, man.
One and done. And look, this is a thing with George Lucas. He meant for Boba to be one and done. He meant for Darth Maul to be one and done. Yep. And in their death, it only made them more popular. Everyone was just like, no, that can't be it. Like, sorry, George. No one wants that to be it.
Well, to Bubba's defense, he was 2 and through.
That was 2 and 3. You are right. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. I literally just came up with that. Maybe someone said that. I don't know why.
I'm telling you, that's gonna stick from now on. Trust me, that's gonna stick. Everyone's gonna say that from now on.
You're welcome.
Wow, I've been missing everything from the comment.
Some of those are mine.
No,
it's mostly Joe.
Good. I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. We were just having such a good conversation. I forgot to go back there.
Can you explain that?
Explain what?
The two and three.
He was in 2 movies. He was in 2 movies.
Yeah. So one and done. And 2, you're through.
Okay.
Oh wait, are we counting Empire? Or are we counting the holiday special?
The holiday special is canon. I just try my best never to.
Because wasn't that the whole thing that was his debut?
That was his debut.
Yeah,
that was his debut.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but I don't count. I count Empire.
Yeah, I mean, again, if someone wants to, you can. But I would tell you, you have to watch that whole special if you want to count it.
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
That's the thing. So if someone comes to me and goes, no, I want to count the holiday special, my first question would be, did you watch all of it? No, watch all of it or it does not count. It doesn't. Those are the rules. But Joel, so Patches was talking about this, and I'm curious what your thoughts were. What were you feeling seeing that a short fight made Boba go, take me to the bath. I gotta go take a bath. I gotta heal. Like, this is too much for me. I'm old. Like, what's wrong with y'all? So what was your thoughts seeing that?
I was okay with it, considering it looked like it works, because he looked way worse in the desert. He was fucked up in that desert. So whatever that is, it works. And so after an ass whooping like that, I'm like, yeah, I need a bath right now. The only thing that was bothering me, I wish it was a full mask, because there's no way you don't inhale through your nose at some point during that point.
That is very true. I'm with you on that. I'm doing that.
So I wish it was like a full mask, but whatever. That's just me nitpicking.
No, but all I kept thinking was when they're dragging Boba, he's just like, all right, put on some Frank Sinatra, pour me some glass of wine,
light some candles,
relax. Right, light some candles.
Guys, can I get some lavender Epsom salts?
One thing that bothered me about that scene is they just threw him in with his clothes on. Like, yo,
they did.
I'm trying to. He was very trusting to me, like a little bit too trusting with those two guys. Like, they took him there.
Well,
and I was like,
well, I think the biggest thing is Trayvon. Boba. I think what Boba's working off of right now is Boba made a name for himself before he supposedly died. So now that he's back, the name still carries weight. So I think a lot of what that's why when she was saying no, usually Jabba would be like paraded around. Mm-hmm. To him, he's like, no, they know me, or if they don't, they will. So I don't need none of that. They know when I walk in, someone's bound to die. You know what I'm saying?
You got to think like the entire population at Tatooine. You know, if they know his name, if they thought he was dead, holy shit, they knew he got
Right.
thrown into the Sarlacc pit, right?
Yeah.
That dude, no one comes out of that.
No one at all. And the fact that now that Sarlacc pit, I don't think is alive anymore, is also the interesting thing.
See, I think it was because it was at the very beginning when they showed him in the pit. It was still like pulsing.
I mean when he came out. I mean when he came out of it. I don't think it's alive anymore. Yeah, I think when he burned his way out, it probably killed the. Probably
It's
smashed.
possible.
Thing,
It's possible, but
yeah.
it could be still alive. It's possible. I wonder if we're gonna get more of
the
that.
tentacles were just like laying down.
They were laying
Yeah.
limp
In the sand,
very
It's
limp.
possible. Yeah,
There could be other ones though.
I thought the same
Oh
thing.
no, for sure. There could be other. I just mean that specific one. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Because I have to imagine if once he got out, if it was still alive, it would fight to put it back in. So the fact that it didn't, it must have been like either damn this hurt or you got me. you got me. It's okay.
You win this round.
Yeah, we call it a draw. But can I also say that Star Wars has a very weird fascination with choking? All of its large monsters, Star Wars finds a way to kill only by choking, not beheading, not stabbing, not shooting. Star Wars is just like, wait. I'm sorry, those chains? Oh, you getting choked out tonight, man. And it's just like, damn, just shoot me. No. Rules state you have to get choked out by these chains.
Even if you're wearing a metal bikini.
Yep.
Right. Even if you're wearing
especially
everybody's getting
Actually,
choked
yes.
out. But no, I love that. I love that theory because when Leia was choking him out, there were so many different weapons to utilize. But she said, fuck all that. You're getting choked out, Joe. You're getting choked out. Obviously, we see Boba choke someone out. Right. Luke, I believe, choked someone out. It's
choked them out.
It's a love affair. Yeah, it's a love affair choking here. But Trayvon, I want to pass it to you. Were there any things that stood out to you? Or anything that jogged any questions for you coming out of this episode? What were some of the things that you liked?
I love Finnick, so Ming-Na, I was very excited for her anyway. So that's my main thing pull for this. I was like, yeah, this would be cool to see her. I love to see her in just anything. So I'm excited for her, and I just like their dynamic. She's like, okay, you can't play with these people, and he's like, I want to do it by respect, and she's like, yeah, that's gonna backfire, and I'm waiting for it to happen. And I feel like it already backfired to me in this episode, like from them just attacking him like that when he's supposed to be the Lord, and I was like, they're already playing with you already, like,
well,
and I was like, yeah, and I was like,
I'm in danger field of Star Wars right now,
and I just and for him being in that tube getting healed or whatever, and I'm like, what if that gets found out that you needed that, like right after that one battle? Like that might not be a good thing to get out into the town. Everybody's gonna try you. Like,
I mean, it's not like I've seen Jabba fighting when people one-on-one either.
Well,
that is also
this man fought in the streets. He got jumped, and he's still kicking. I wouldn't fuck with Boba. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. It was just very interesting. I was okay, and it was funny. Finney was like alive, and I was like, "But you killed somebody right before you said that," and I would be like, "Didn't you just shoot him with a rocket? Like, what do you mean alive? I'm gonna do what I gotta do."
Yeah, he said, "Do as I say, not as I do." Yeah, that's what he told her.
No, he didn't want them. He didn't want to keep them alive to keep them alive. He wants information. That's why she killed one off. She's like, "Fuck that one. I need one."
She did.
Right.
I did enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoyed when she did that. That's okay. I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I mean, it was. I like how he earned the respect of those ones that took him hostage. I don't know who they are, but I mean, they didn't kill him. I don't know why. I was wondering why they kept him alive. Like, for what? I was like, so you have him sitting here for what though? Like, what is the point? And then you have him go with the kid to help the kid do what? Find water? I didn't understand that at first. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll just go with this. And then he saved them. and then I thought that he would let him go when he didn't kill the kid at first.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I was okay. So maybe this will be when they'll like not do anything else to him. No, they just said fuck that. You'll keep helping us or whatever.
The more interesting thing about him being a prisoner to the Tuskens is the fact that it just reminds you that no one knows who Boba Fett is outside of the Get Up.
Okay, yeah.
Outside of the Get Up. That's why it was so important to have him stripped down before just leaving him in the desert. Because if anyone found him with that armor, they would know, oh shit, that's Boba Fett. Like, oh no. I want no problems with Boba Fett. But seeing him out of that, you're kind of just like, well, I don't know what the fuck that is. I know who you are. There are very few people that are still alive that remember Camino enough to know, like, oh, okay, that's what you look like when you're not like, no, they don't know. So it's just some random guy. And you saw the purpose of them keeping prisoners. Whenever they need dirty work, they throw them out there and say, well, all right, well, do my dirty work. And if you die, cool. Win-win. Like, you found me water and then you died. So I don't have to then give you said water. So boom, there we go. Win-win. You know, it's what most 9-to-5 jobs do to us.
Well,
Pretty much.
Maybe I'm the exception to the rule. I'm digging right there.
Oh man, most jobs are like, oh man, you sick? Yeah, I'm so sick. Can you finish your shift? Bitch, I'm sick. Like, what? Like, no, I get it, but you know, finish your shift.
Or you could just go in, like in my office, just go over to the whiskey decanter and just like it's like, hey, whiskey kills a cold, buddy. You're fine. Once you feel better, start throwing some darts. You're fine.
Like, all right, I'm feeling better. But no, Javon, was there anything else that stood out to you?
No, I can't really think so. I mean, I just thought it was a fun episode. It was, I like how they work together or don't work together, I guess. And I don't know. I curious on how it goes at this point. From him, like I said, him needing that healing tank after this one battle. I was like, so you can't keep going to that thing. Like eventually, at some point, you ain't gonna be able to get back to that thing. I thought he was a little too trusting for those two guys that he just hired, like to take him to it. For one thing, like I was like, oh, that's a little, a little trusting to me, a little way too trusting. I would not want them to take me there.
Yeah, but Finnick was also alive too, so they, hey, if we mess with Boba, she's coming after us.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean also, like I said, also again, it just speaks to Boba's evolution, because one thing Boba did not do if you watch Clone Wars was trust anyone, literally anyone. And by the time you get to the end of his arc in Clone Wars, Boba's way more open to trusting people than he ever was at the beginning.
He definitely reminded me more of Mando to me. The way he acted, his
more honor.
He wasn't. Yeah. Exactly. That's a word for it. To me, I was like, this is very much for him to be a bounty hunter. he doesn't act that way anymore, or at this moment. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm always fascinated on how this show looks. Knowing how they do the show with all this technology and stuff. It's really cool that I'm Jon Favreau. I'm very happy for him, and that he gets to do these shows. So, and I'm just excited for all of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, not only him, but the Godfather himself, Dave Filoni. That's who's really pumping out a lot of this stuff. Because a lot of this lore he knows probably better than he knows his family. So he's able to help Jon Favreau kind of like churn out a lot of these stories and a lot of this lore. But you were talking about technology, and then Patches, you were going to say something before I pass it to Joe.
Well, and I was just going to bring up a question on one of Trayvon's points was, you're talking about, him fighting, the creature, and, like let's choke guys out with chains, because it's a Star Wars way. It's what we do. Right. But did anyone notice, like at the end, when do you think the kid was taking credit for the kill, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then and that was like one of the coolest scenes, because then I'm guessing he's one of the elder Tuskens and stuff. Like everyone was around the kid. It's like, oh my God. And the guy was just in the back. He was like, Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Have some
You're
water,
fine.
dude.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what's up. Here you go.
Yeah, that 100% was the case. He was just like,
Okay.
he was looking at the kid like, no.
Okay. I
When
was
he
just
saw
making sure
yeah,
because
when he
it could
saw
have been
Boba
very.
walking, when he saw Boba walking, he was just like, oh, no, that makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, because I know you. There's no way you did that. Like,
Okay.
I'll let you parade it, but no. One thing I did want, and this is a very small nitpick, but anytime anyone in Star Wars talks that you can't understand it, it should be subtitled. So we at least have some kind of context as to what they're saying. Because at least when like R2 talks, someone is responding to him, so you have the context of what's being said. But you ended that episode just in screaming, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck was said. Like, well, I want to know what you were saying. What were you saying?
I disagree with the Tuscans. I disagree only because they never did in the past, but they did do it for Greedo. So it would have made sense that when whatever his race is, I'm sorry, I can't think of it right now. I think it starts with an R, I think. Almost sounds like radon or either way. I would have liked it then. But when the Tuscans talked, it was always just them screaming.
I agree.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, I don't think George Lucas cared, but today I would like at least just anytime they talk, have someone that's a balancing board. Like they're responding. So from that standpoint, I'm getting the context. Because whenever they talk,
isn't it better to be left to the imagination though too? Because I mean, and that was like for the Tuscan. I mean, yes, we're using Tuscans because that within the context of this episode, but even in Mandalorian and stuff like that, it was. I mean, there was a lot of that going on. Like there was a lot of like talking, no subtitles, no anything, and I think it made the show better because you're left to your interpretation of what's going on until something happens. So if you had the right and or wrong interpretation, when whatever happened came to fruition, you're like, oh shit, that's what happened. Or then it's a great discussion point, i.e. what we're doing here of what could have been meant by this, what could have this, well, what if they do this? And it's good conversation piece too. So I think either way you win without the subtitles.
No, and again, no, go ahead, Trayvon, go ahead.
Well, I was saying like from what I remember of Mandalorian, I feel like when there was someone talking that we didn't understand, there was some kind of back and forth or some kind of response to that.
Right.
Creature or whatever, and we would understand in that context. For this, I did think I don't know what they're talking about or what they're saying until that point where the kid was like getting cheered on, where I was like, okay, so the kid is taking credit for the kill or whatever. That's the only time I understood what was going on at that point. I was okay. And then the guy gave him the thing. I was like, okay, so he knows that kid is like basically bullshitting. Cool. But that's the only time I knew. Every other time I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Usually George Lucas has the recipe of it's usually talking to someone. So like when they're spewing the whatever the hell they're saying, it's either C-3PO breaking it down for you or whoever they're talking to just so happens to know the language. So you still get the content. It's not, I don't mean this specific to Tuscans because the likelihood of us seeing them largely going forward is slim to none. Right. So I don't mean that specifically them. I just mean any alien species you bring in, just have them speak to someone that can then respond. So I go, oh, okay, you're asking for tea. Okay, got it. Because the fuck, like.
But don't you feel that's kind of lazy on our part though? Like, are we doing like I almost feel like that's kind of a laziness. Like we're so used to people just serving it up for us, or I mean, Christ, this drives me crazy. Like my nephews and nieces, they watch shows with subtitles on. I'm like, turn the damn volume up and listen to what they're saying. Like that. But that's me. Maybe
say though,
maybe I'm the old guy. But
no, but there is a lot of times where the audio, for some reason, it's kind of out a little bit, and you're kind of it's like faint, and you're like, what the fuck did he just say?
Right. And I get that.
So
that part I understand.
Have it on for that.
I get it for that part, but don't just rely on it either. Like there's a part of imagination here that makes this what it is and what makes it so exciting. Don't you think?
That's fair, but I will say for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joel.
I just feel like if they want you to know what they want to say, they'll put the subtitles in. Like if it's not, I can't imagine anything they said was important enough for us to actually understand them. Like I think we got the concept of what they were saying in whatever conjecture they were trying to explain it.
It also is kind of, if you think about it, if you go back to even the original trilogy, it is kind of uneven to what they decided to give subtitles to which characters and not.
Right.
Like Chewie didn't get it, R2 didn't get it, but like you said, Juwan, it was because they were having back and forth conversation.
Right, like
Someone
Chewie would be
understood
talking
them.
to Han,
Chewie
and
would go,
Han
oh,
understood it.
and then
Right.
and then Han would answer him right back. And
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It could be a balance. I don't need subtitles if he's speaking to Boba and Boba's responding.
Then you got Jabba. Jabba was getting spoken to by Bib Fortuna, you know, and then you had C-3PO to interpret what they were interpret what he was saying. And you still got the subtitles at one point. That's why it is a little confusing to which
Which
they
one
did mention that in the show. They mentioned that we should get one of those.
Get a protocol droid. Yeah.
They said it. We should get one.
Because the first person they speak to, he's like,
"Did you?"
Fennec's like, "Did you get that?"
Like,
he's like, "Yeah,
something about friendship."
Yeah.
So it is a little uneven though. The characters that we have gotten, you know, like I said, Greedo got the subtitles, Jabba got the subtitles, even though at one point C-3PO is interpreting what he's saying.
Right.
There is a little bit of an unevenness of and I'm curious to know a separate topic, but the same topic of how George decided who was going to get subtitles or not.
Yeah, and now us knowing that George isn't necessarily as hands-on, even though anytime Dave Filoni is involved, George Lucas is there. I 100% believe that. But I would like to know Jon Favreau, who writes it. Like Joel said, and that is a fair point. You know, nothing that they were saying was clearly important, or it would have been Boba responding to it. But that's what I'm saying. I don't want to make it seem like this is exclusive to the Tusken Raiders. We get it a lot in Star Wars, where it's like, I don't know what are you saying? And then like the scene will just go, and you're like, all right, well, I guess that wasn't important. You know what I'm saying? But no, so Joe, I want to pass it to you because I want you to go into, and that's why I purposely didn't touch on it. I want you to go on to what you were explaining in the comment section about why it was so important that Boba had to keep running to the Bacta tank, because it wasn't as simple as maybe I was making it sound when I started this. And then your thoughts on the episode.
I mean, I just simply took it as Fennec interrupted the healing session to begin with. So he didn't get a full healing session, whatever he was doing when he was getting the flashbacks. So that's number one. And if you go back to the Mando season 2 episode where he's beating the shit out of all those stormtroopers, and he's actually, if you remember, he's using that stick or a similar stick to what one of the Tusken Raiders, the one that kicked his ass, was using. Mm-hmm. So he's breaking their skulls or breaking their helmets off with that thing. He was physical combat, but he wasn't getting anything back. Stormtroopers are kind of weak, even with guns. Yes. These guys were electrocuting him, you know, and he was getting a lot of shocks. So I think that's why, coupled with the fact that his healing session wasn't finished, I think that's why. Whether he's going to have to keep going back to it, if that's the case, it's going to get a little annoying because I don't know if they're using this, because it was the first thing I was thinking of too. Are they going to use the Bacta tank for the purpose of healing, but also for the purpose of getting flashback scenes?
That is also true. Because here's something people don't know unless you read the books. Vader had to utilize that almost every night, right? Mm-hmm. When he would break down, he would have to go inside the tank, and that's how he would sleep. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Vader could endure a shit ton of damage before that's even needed. Like that was mostly just to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Joe, on let's see what happens when he gets a full restoration. How long he can go before needing it. Because I don't want hey, you guys, like, is there Bacta tank here? Like, we're on another planet, we're not home. So like that
you're gonna have to fly with one. You're gonna have to make it mobile. You're gonna have to fly with one on, right? On your ship.
He just does like an inhaler and
like Wayland did in Prometheus. Have one of those things.
I'm with you on that. I also hope that this is more more Mandalorian and less Arrow, in the sense of Mandalorian gave you flashback, we're done. You get the gist. I hope this is just showing us how he gets from first being captured to when he finally gets on his own. I don't need to see anything else after you just freeing yourself from these Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Everything else can be like Patches was just saying, I can just imagine
I
it.
agree.
Right? I can just imagine. I don't need to know every little thing you've done till you meet Mando and then get your armor back.
Yeah. I do like the fact that they got it out of the way right away. How we got out of the Sarlacc. It was quick, but it was it was entertaining, and it also served a purpose. Okay. That's how we got out. All right. And it was badass too. Right. But to go over the Gamorreans, two reasons why I was okay with that. One, because he was able to assess that they are a loyal bunch. Right. So they are going to be loyal to no matter who they serve. Right. So that was why he hired them, for their loyalty. Right. And if you go to that scene, and I said this in the comments, if you go to the scene, because I went back and I rewatched it just in case I was wrong, when they're coming out of that cantina, whatever it is, as soon as they're exiting the door, the Gamorreans are right behind them. The very next cut, right before they get jumped, they're gone. Because I even said to myself, I was like, where are they? Where did they go? Right, I think the people that jumped them interfered with them trying to to convene and interrupt the jumping. So it wasn't until that they probably got past them and probably fought them off camera did they catch up to Fennec and Boba getting their ass kicked.
That's fair. I mean, also,
ditched. Yeah, I don't think they ditched.
No, it also could just be as simple as that scene was more important to showcase Boba and Fennec getting through.
Yeah.
Than you bringing on help, and now it's a fair fight. It's supposed to not be a fair fight.
Yeah.
So you want at least both sides to get some lickings in before you diffuse the situation. So yeah. I understand that. But I do love how when he dropped the helmet of money, everyone was just like,
yeah,
well.
And really quick, those Jawas, man, not only did they rob him, pretty much and left him for dead, but the amount of force he took to the head in this episode, not just from everyone. He got a swift hit to the head from a stick from the Jawas. Hard. Yeah. I was like, damn, I never saw them that ruthless before.
No.
And then of course the Tuskens did it a couple times. They hit him in the head. Mm-hmm. So he took some hits to the head in this episode.
Wait, who was stealing the money when he dropped it?
It looked like it was Jawas, but it also
was Jawas.
It was Jawas. Okay.
Jawas were the first ones that there were other people, but Jawas were the first one on the scene.
I thought one of the guys that were jumping them also started taking the money too.
He might have, but I want to start this trend that if the Jawas were the ones that were taking the money from the ground, it is possible. One core group of Jawas that are doing everything. Rob Mando, robbed Boba. There's not Jawas everywhere. It's one traveling group of Jawas that are just like, I see opportunity. Like, come on, let's steal.
I think there are different Jawas, right? Because I think there's a red-eyed
Jawa. There are. But I want to start the rumor that it's one group of Jawas that are robbing everybody blind. They just travel where they think opportunity lies. It's just like,
my biggest question, and so two things. Mm-hmm. I want to say what I thought I was seeing first, and then what we ended up seeing. I have no idea. So when they were in the desert, right, and the kid Jawa, the Greedo guy, whatever, and Boba, and they see the smoke in the distance, and they look, and they see the hut, like one of the Tatooine huts or homes were being invaded. And then like they had this thing painted they painted like this sign on symbols on the thing and then left. I thought originally, again, the timeline is a little thrown off. So I was trying to do it really quick in my head. I was like, wait a minute, does this fall in line? Does this fall in line? I thought maybe we were getting the origins of Beru and the aunt and uncle dying, getting burned. I thought maybe that was Luke's home. At first, that was a quick, when we first seen it, I was like, wait a minute, are they doing this to show that Boba had nothing to do with it? Because that was the long-standing theory that Boba's the one that killed his aunt and uncle. Right. But then I think it's been since debunked. But so.
Well, hold on to that though, real quick. Hold on to that. Right. Because I find it very hard to believe that Filoni and Favreau introduced Luke in this timeline and made sure Boba wasn't present at the same time.
Right.
Paths will cross again at some point for sure.
No, I'm
so
assuming
you
it
might
will.
see that get reignited. Where Luke goes, I found out you killed my aunt and uncle. And it's like, shit. Like, just don't throw me in the Sarlacc pit is all I ask, Luke. Just don't do that.
Well,
Just
more
We just got
importantly,
him back.
more importantly,
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, don't
what
don't
were
do
we
that.
looking at? That's what I want to know. What were we looking at? Who were those?
It's a
I
gang,
don't
bro.
know. I
The
will
biker
say
gang, obviously.
very quickly when I saw it, I
Legit,
thought it was
yeah.
I thought it was the Mandalorian. I thought it was Mando's unit. I thought
That's
it was
what it looked
Mando's
like.
unit. And I was just like,
they had biker vests on and everything, bro. They were bikers.
no. You're not wrong, Joel. But that's why
I
it
know,
confused me
man.
because I'm like, why would they tag the Mandalorian logo and
So,
none of them are Mandalorian? Like,
so
what's
yeah,
happening?
because it wasn't the Mandalorian logo, but
No, it wasn't. But on quick look, I'm like, what is that?
So if you look at the timeline, because who knows how long like Boba was in the desert, like being the
Exactly.
nomad and everything before Mando got there. So what I'm guessing is whoever took over after Jabba, that was his sign, and because that was a moisture farm, obviously, because you saw the water coming up from the desert and everything. So like they're ganking all the water from this moisture farm, and then they said, then they tag it and go, hey, this is whoever's running the show, and then boom, we're out.
Who took over for Jabba again?
The guy that what's
Bib
his name?
Fortuna.
Snakehead guy.
Yeah,
Right,
Bib
right.
Fortuna. Yeah, it could be a rival gang. It could be a
I
rival
also,
gang. That's
I
rival.
also
Yeah.
would, I also would just like the idea of when Bit Fortuna took over, no one really fell in line to.
He gained weight and everything.
It was just mass. Yeah, it was
So-
just mass chaos. So like, everyone was just taking whatever they wanted because there was no Jabba the Hutt to fear. So it was just the idea of I'd take whatever I want.
Right, territory divided and shit.
Right. Because I think people keep forgetting, Joel, and this is why I told you I applaud Jon Favreau for doing one of the greatest things in geek history. You took a timeline that doesn't exist anywhere in Star Wars lore. This whole timeline you're working in is a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gray area. So you could say Bit Fortuna took over. There's no Republic. There's no Empire. There's no one reigning supreme enough to say, I could just steal whatever I want. Who's gonna stop me?
Where are the other huts? First of all, really quick before we get into that, I am paused on this scene. It's the Jawas that are taking the money, and also one guy that's just on the street.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's the same Jawas. It's the same Jawas. The same Jawas.
Yes.
But where are the huts? Where are the sons?
Also remember this: Clone Wars killed a lot of those huts. Star Wars: The Clone Wars killed a lot of those huts. I know Darth Maul killed the hut. I know that Cad Bane killed the hut. So all the huts that we saw in Clone Wars, a lot of them died. So I could see that once Jabba died, all the other huts said, you know what? There's like 2 of us left. So I'm gonna go in and get my little space here, my little corner here in the galaxy, and just live out life. I have no interest in getting involved in politics and also dying. So I could see whoever's left of the Hutt family going, enough of us have died. I'm good. I'm good. I do though want to know real quick. I'm gonna pass to you, Patch. I do want to know the one loophole Dave Filoni has. He's never told us whatever came of Jabba's son.
What, Rada?
Yeah, because you see that in the Clone Wars movie.
That's what I'm looking up.
The live action.
The one I tend to forget.
You got
the one that is very freaking amazing. But yes, they save his son, and then you just never really hear about his son again in Clone Wars. So you're like, well, what the fuck? Did he die? Like, did someone kill him? Did Jabba eat him? Like, where's his son?
You're talking about the one Ahsoka gave the nickname Stinky to, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, such great parts of that movie.
Yes, I loved everything of that movie. I will still tell people before you watch Clone Wars, watch that movie.
Skip that. I'm sorry.
Watch that movie. Watch that movie.
Just watch the show. You do yourself a favor.
Watch the movie. Watch the movie. Because Joel, you don't let me tell people to skip Marvel and DC stuff, so absolutely not.
Oh, but you do behind my back.
I 1,000% do not tell people.
Look at your face. You know it's true. You skip shit yourself.
I don't skip Marvel or DC.
You liar.
I watch them all. There's not a Marvel DC movie I have not watched. There are some that I've
No. I'm not saying don't ever watch it, but you can't tell me you don't skip shit.
Movie wise, no, I haven't skipped anything. Of this geek universe, I haven't skipped anything. There's some movies I wish I did though. I won't lie there. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Stinky. So I'm like, where is Stinky? Wouldn't he be the heir apparent? Like,
it doesn't say anything past whatever, but he was kidnapped a couple of times.
Yeah.
So then
that's what I'm saying. That's Dave Filoni's loophole. Like he's never answered that.
He was returned to his father, but his father's dead now. Where is he?
But also to be fair,
slavery, of course.
He was returned very early into Clone Wars. His father died in Return of the Jedi? Yeah. So that's a long so he's clearly older by the time his dad dies. So I'm assuming he just said, I don't want no parts of this. Like,
possible.
I saw you get choked out by that golden chick. I don't want any parts.
I'm done.
But Patches, what were you gonna say?
No, I just wanted to wrap up on the street scene. So I just had one question for everybody is who sent the assassins? Was it the mayor or was it the owner of the establishment?
The owner of the establishment, I don't think did it. I think it's 100% the mayor. I think the people of wherever they are don't mind falling in line because no one, like, again, it's a very peaceful time in the galaxy right now. So you kind of just don't want to rock the boat either way. So she was very much just compliant. I think whoever that was went back to the mayor very fast and said, hey, he didn't give me money and he threatened me. And the mayor was just like, oh, really?
For me, it's a little too easy because I think like she was too quick to be like, oh, well, thanks for introducing yourself. Here's a helmet full of treasure. On your way. You know, someone like that, dude, like they've got money to burn, right? So it's just like, here you go. Here, go ahead. Bye. That's worth that money.
I was thinking the same thing, Patches. That's exactly what I was thinking of. And it wasn't actually, I didn't even think of the mayor until you just said it. I was like, I wonder if it's her. Obviously not to get the money back because the money they didn't even go after the money. They just wanted to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, she was too compliant, too quick, you know, and first she put him down a little bit. She's like, oh, you weren't carried? Where's your entourage or whatever? He's like, I walked.
The only reason why, Patches, I didn't think that, not saying that I don't think that, I didn't go to that, was if they're kind of doing like the inaugural coming to give gifts, that means the word's already spread that there's a new sheriff in town. So it could have reached her and she knew that moment was coming. So it was, there isn't going to be any resistance. I don't want any trouble. Like, I don't want any trouble. Because if anyone knows Star Wars, they know if music is playing, something bad's going to happen. If music is playing in a well-lit establishment, a lightsaber's being brought out, gunfire's happening. So she's like, I want no problems. What do you need? You want money? Here's money. Just leave me alone. Like, so I took it more so as that. But it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. Anyone could be an enemy. Literally anyone. So it could have definitely been her. But I'm more curious who this mayor is.
Same.
I was about to ask, did you guys know? Okay.
Yeah it's a coin toss, though. It could go either way. It could be like they're maybe they're setting it up falsely for us to think that. But the mayor actually, now that you guys said it, it makes sense too as well. You know,
who I hope the mayor is.
What if it's
Cad Bane?
No, God, yeah, you know that's who I hope it is. And Trayvon.
Whip.
Joe, all right, we got to send that video to everybody now that we found it. But no, I do hope Cad, because to me, the first thing I felt when I ended this episode was I am no clearer on what this season is about than I was before I started the episode. Yep. So not only am I very excited to see what the journey is, I'm like, well, it's clear Boba is your good guy. So who is the major bad guy of this? And how does it fit in Boba's story? And then in the larger universe they're building in Disney Plus Star Wars right now. Because Boba is part of the Mandalorian, which is part of Ahsoka. Like that's building something there. So I'm like, I pray it's Cad Bane. I pray. because I love Boba, but as long as Cad Bane is breathing, that is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
But that's not who you think the mayor is, though, right?
No.
Who's the?
But
Who do
I
you
am
think the mayor
curious
is?
who I think the mayor is.
Oh,
I don't know, because like I said, it's such an open-ended time in Star Wars history. So it's
Yeah.
like it could literally be anybody.
Stinky.
I know.
I think, yeah, right. I think the mayor is a puppet. Whoever the mayor is going to be is a puppet. And what's her name from the establishment? She's the one pulling the strings.
it's possible.
Because
like that.
because I thought it was a mayor at first, and then before we got on, I was just thinking about this. I was like, wait a second, that's too easy of a connection to put the mayor as, you know, like he sent the assassins. It's like, come on, like it would it shock me? No, but I expect more out of Favreau and Filoni.
Yeah,
Is there?
I'm with you there.
Is
Go
there
ahead.
any chance?
Maybe they're working together.
Is there any chance at one point we see her in the club, sitting on a chair, and she pulls a bucket of water down on her head?
Absolutely.
You do know that's the girl.
Yes,
That's the girl from
fans,
Flash.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
I
probably.
wouldn't mind. Dang it.
Uh,
She looks
but
good,
one
man.
One
Looks
thing I am
amazing.
super curious about, as before we wrap this up, one thing I am super curious about is we saw Moff Gideon captured at the end of Mandalorian season 2. We don't know how large that faction of the remnants of the Empire is. So I am curious if it is large, like a large faction that's what's left over of the Empire.
Mhm.
I do want to hear about it in the Book of Boba. Like, I want to hear of the fallout. Like, has the Empire completely folded now that the face of it is gone? Was he a puppet? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do want to, like, I don't need to see anything, but just like dialogue of like, well, now it's really the Wild Wild West. Now that Moff Gideon isn't, you know what I'm saying, there to put claim to any territories or anything or any fear. We can just do whatever we want. There's no Jedi.
I would love to see Richard E. Grant, the Allegiant General from Rise of Skywalker. Dude, he is absolutely amazing.
He was great, but the only reason I don't want to see him is I swore on my kids I don't have that he was going to be a certain blue admiral. And when he wasn't, I was just like, how did you waste this opportunity?
Oh, they're waiting on Benedict Cumberbatch, man. Don't worry.
Oh.
Do you think the series ends with the ramifications of Luke coming back?
Well, here's the problem. I don't think anyone is I don't know if anyone knows of the events of that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And he hasn't been gone long because this isn't that far from after when they defeated Vader and everything.
Well, yeah, and we also know he's going to build the Jedi again soon.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, he's on the hunt for candidates. Yeah.
Right.
He hasn't disappeared yet.
He's
so
recruiting.
right. Which again, we could talk about this a little bit. There is a rumor that there might be a Jedi show in the works on Disney Plus. There hasn't been really. I forgot what the title was.
The Last Jedi, I think.
No, it was something else. God, no. We don't need any memories.
Not The Last Jedi. Why am I saying that?
I'm like, we don't need any memories of that, especially when you mention Luke's name. We don't.
Doesn't it have the word last in it? The Last Temple or something like that?
No, it has Jedi in it, and that's what's throwing me
The
off.
Jedi Temple.
Legend of the Jedi Temple. It's actually a game where you actually have to play it out.
No, Joel, I think it was the Legend of the Jedi, though. I think it was the Legend of the
competition game. Like,
so they're going to get Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, I would love that. Stop.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Bro,
cool,
Sebastian Stan wants that. I'm telling you, he wants that.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Like
I'm telling you right now,
he's right there.
telling Feige. He's telling Feige right now, Bucky's dead. All right, can I be Luke now? Like, come on, guys, just let me be Luke.
Hold on now.
We don't need Bucky no more. Just let me
do
be
both.
Hey, it's not like it's a conflict of interest with his contract. It's the same damn company, right?
He's just driving from one lot to the other, like he just gets no sleep. I'm just waiting for the one day where he shows up to set with a robotic hand instead of a whole robotic arm, and he's just like, shit, wrong show. All right, I'll be right. Wrong show. Sorry, let me go over here. I do want to see them film that though. Like Luke shows up with Winter Soldier arm, force choking people. It's just like, wait a minute. No, sorry, wrong thing. But no, Trayvon, I will say, I think Kathleen Kennedy, who I do not believe to be stupid, would be extremely stupid to not cash in on doing a Luke and Grogu show. I
What would we call that?
Would you say, Joel?
What should we call that show?
I don't know. I don't know.
The Jedi and the green guy.
The Jedi and the Green Knight.
No, I am Grook.
You just see Drax
Yes.
show up and he's just like, no, this is the right place. Rocket Raccoon pops up and it's like, no, this is the right place. It's just like, no, it's the wrong thing, not Groot.
Looks through the door. He's like, no.
But I will tell you, if Feige ever does do a crossover, Groot and Grogu talking would be the most adorable thing ever.
Yes.
You just go, all right, Patches told me I'm not allowed to have subtitles, so I'm supposed to just, think of what you guys are talking about here. Is you just saying I am Groot 900 times, like, all right, what do you say, Grogu? And Grogu doesn't do anything but coo. So it's like, all right, I don't know what's happening here. It's just cooing and I am Groot.
We're not watching it for the dialogue, trust me.
Well, unless they're hugging or fighting, I am watching it for the dialogue.
Dude, as a musician of over 30 years, like Trayvon was saying, he loves the scores. Joel was saying too, like the score also tells the story.
That is true.
So, I mean, like they are super smart about this. Now, maybe I'm just an old guy, which I am the old guy.
Right.
It's not an old thing at all. It's not an old thing at all. It's, you know what it is? You know what spoiled me to a degree? What spoiled me is I haven't seen an MCU movie yet that the dialogue doesn't matter. So I've become to the point where I'm now obsessed with dialogue because I'm afraid I'm missing something. So I'm like, all right, well, what are you saying?
But I'm pretty sure if it was important, they'd let you read the dialogue.
Sure. I told you there was no argument.
If you can't understand it, there's a reason, and you don't need to know what the fuck they're saying.
Again, I told you that's fair. I understand where you're coming from. That's
I can't
fair.
see that bothers you that much. Like, I really need to know what they were saying to the guy with the.
I told you it wasn't to just this episode. In Star Wars history, they do it all the time, and it's like, what the? I
was more upset at when they're pulling the things out of the sand, right? They pull it out of the sand, then they pick it up, and it's already got the hole for them to drink out of. It was like, how does sand not go in the water?
That's what I wanted to know.
What are those that hole? Who made that hole?
What kind of animal is it that produces water like that?
But Tales of the Jedi is what the thing was called.
Tales of the Jedi. There we go.
That was the leaked thing on the cruise. Apparently, it was on the crew gift or something, like cruise gift.
Right.
They were sending them out as like gift bags to the crew.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Tales of the Jedi was one of the things that was mentioned. Yeah.
Tales of the Jedi is an actual story, though. So I'm more curious. Will Filoni and Favreau just say, "Well, forget that story. We're going to use it for Luke and Grogu. Like we're going to use it for this."
And can we all just agree that will just the entire Walt Disney Company cut Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau a blank check and say, "Nope,
1000%.
have at it."
Exactly, sure.
I want Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau to be working so hard in Star Wars. I forget who Kathleen Kennedy is. Like, I at no point need her to speak if they're there. Let them speak.
Who's Kathleen?
Right? Exactly. Who's Kathleen Kennedy? And again, do not get me wrong.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't do that.
I think she has done a great job in the position she's been in. I think she's had a few hiccups, but who has?
Give her credit now.
No, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying here.
Credit now.
But
wanna back up. Like, no more shows.
When it comes to the direction of things,
but she admittedly doesn't know Star Wars lore like those two guys.
1000%. And you know what's funny, Joel? You know how I always viewed Kathleen Kennedy? I view Kathleen, and I know it's not the same thing, but I view Kathleen Kennedy as like Bob Iger, right? To where you're just like, all right, you kind of just put the money.
You got
where
Feige,
right?
Well,
but
Bob Iger on top of Kathleen Kennedy. So what would?
No. I know, but I'm just saying the only time you hear from Bob Iger is when he's just either repeating what Feige is saying or he's telling you about money. So it's like Kathleen.
Those are guys that know. I know where to put my money in my. Trust in.
Right. So I'm like, Kathleen, we know you do a great job over there, but I need to hear less about what things are to come from you and more from the people who live and breathe this. So like I can, because when she breaks news, it's like, Kathleen, you're not even explaining it right. Like, no one's jumping up and down. You got to put some more into that, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm with you, Patches. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, especially when it comes to Disney Plus. And shout out to Christian Harloff, friend of GVN. He's saying he doesn't need any more Star Wars movies. They're killing it on Disney Plus. If you can give me shows that expand and look as good as these shows have looked, by all means. And to me, the only reason I didn't argue that was the only thing I want Star Wars wise is Knights of the Old Republic. And you 1,000% could do that as a show. The same way Game of Thrones work is the same exact way Knights of the Old Republic work.
Isn't that what Tales of the Jedi is? It's somewhere in the Knights of Old Republic or the Old Republic.
That is where the original story is about. But the only reason I think it might not be about that is they're doing what's the timeline that they're doing the book?
High Republic.
I'm blanking out. Yes, the High Republic. So the High Republic is not when the Jedi were created, but it is one of the highest points for the Jedi.
Yeah.
So you kind of assume at some point in that they're going to explain how the Jedi came to be. So it's like, well, I don't need you both doing that. This should be something drastically different.
Like
so that's why I said just flip it to like a Luke and Grogu show, and it's about Luke recruiting.
Right.
So that's the whole.
You're like doing the original trilogy and the prequels at the same time.
Yes, and retconning everything from The Last Jedi. Literally.
What bothered me about Kathleen is ever since she had said that whole thing in the interview that there was no source material and, they had to go. That's why the sequels didn't thrive and they didn't have anything to go back on. It's like, how do you say that? You have people like Filoni and Favreau who not only know the source material, but know the lore, know the world. And that's why I agree. They should just be handed a blank check and let them from here on out, moving forward, handle everything Star Wars. If she wants to be head of the, president or whatever she is, that's fine. But as far as hands-on goes, they need to be on it.
You know what I'm finding out more today?
Should be over with Star Wars. There should be content. That's what I feel like.
I'm with you on that. But what I'm finding out more and more lately, Joe, is, and I'm with you, that is egregious. You never want to hear that, right? Here's where I'm starting to find out. No one cares. No one cares about, like, it's a very few of us that care about source material. Everyone else, no one cares. Like, when you ask someone, like, oh, do you know where this came from? No. Well, did you plan on reading it? No. So to them, they're just going in just to enjoy the movie, which is fine. I'm not knocking it, but I'm starting to learn more and more. People don't care about any of the source material. You know what I'm saying? How many times have we had the conversation on this channel of someone saying, I don't need the connected universe. And it's like, I don't even understand what those words mean. What are you saying? What? Like, like what? You don't want to see Batman and Superman interact? You don't want to see Iron Man and Captain America interact?
Yeah, but so take it from a guy that doesn't know source material. And I'm saying this. The reason why I'm saying that is because I may not know what happened in the expanded universe and in the other books that were either canon or not canon. Mm-hmm. I'm saying as far as a story goes, yes, I want to go to a movie and just enjoy it. And that's all that matters to me. But at the same time, if the three movies combined aren't a cohesive story, and she's saying, well, we don't have source material, we don't have ways to make a cohesive story, that's where I'm calling her bullshit. Because yes, you do.
Well, see, I go a step above that. I call her bullshit in the fact that if it was cohesive, a lot of people wouldn't have known where it was coming from anyway.
Exactly.
So all she had to do was just give a cohesive, but that's my problem. I can't just accept a cohesive story. Something in this motherfucker has to be familiar. Something. I'll accept a suit. I'll take a suit. Oh, a suit is accurate. Perfect. But there needs to be something that is fulfilling to people who've spent forever reading this material. Because if you never do it, it's kind of just like, well, why do I ever need to read any of your comics if none of this ever really extends to anything else? And again, but I'm not saying
it's a double-edged sword, because I mean, you and I have gone back and forth, especially like the past couple of years with MCR, right? Of like their primary concern is not getting the comics out. It's not getting the individual stories out, like all the different incarnations of the X-Men and the Avengers, so on and so forth. Same with Star Wars, like there is a ton of it there already. What they care about is making the money. At the end of the day, Walt Disney is a business. The trick is they are just really good at getting the best people that love those stories to make it the best business. All right. I don't know the source material either. I'm with Joe, right? But what the other side, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. The other side of that sword is, if you make it so good, if you make the movie so enjoyable, if you make all the overarching storylines and everything else so good, it makes people want to go, hey, this is really cool. I'm gonna go back and then get subscribe to the Marvel app and get all the comics and start reading all that stuff and go back and get more and stay and get their subscriptions and everything else. So at the end of the day, it's business.
I get that, but what I never understand is you could throw source material in everything you do and it still be good business, because the people who don't know won't know anyway. They won't know anyway. So you're not robbing them of anything, because because a lot of times what Feige has been doing, or Marvel rather, has been doing the last few years, is me and Joel spoke about it in our group chat the other day. A lot of times when you hear a character being utilized in the comics a lot, or like a big comic arc is coming out, it's your biggest inclination. That's on the horizon. He's about to pluck that character in there somewhere. So you see a lot of breadcrumbs. It used to be when you see that character in the animated world of the cartoons, we're about to see it somewhere else. So there's usually breadcrumbs, but all I'm saying is source material doesn't rob the general public, because if you put it in there or if you don't put it in there, they just don't know it. So that's what I'm saying. If you attract us, we can then attract everyone else. That's what WandaVision was.
Right. But also source material has a potential of taking movies down a rabbit hole, to where then you're focusing on so much minutia that the story itself is getting lost. It's a delicate balance. And I think just because of the way they structure this stuff, they're choosing to just cut to it and not use as much source material and go, all right, is this the easier way? Yes. Is it easier? Is it less accurate? Yes, it's less accurate, but you know what? That's going to make us the most money, and that's what's going to attract more fans and make our brand stronger.
Look at Marvel. Marvel and Disney are under the same parent. Marvel and Star Wars are under Disney, right? They're under the same parent company. Mm-hmm. Marvel obviously has source materials. They have comics. They have, decades and decades, if not centuries, of comics that everybody pretty much knows the story. What they do is they take them and they're loose adaptations of the source material, but they're still cohesive stories. And that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
What Star Wars is doing, it's not even loose adaptations of to an extent of source material. What they're doing is they're saying, okay, here's our movie, right? Or you want to know about the Knights of Ren? We're not going to tell you in the movies. We want you to buy the comics and then read the stories. Oh, you want to know how Palpatine came back? We're not going to tell you in the movie. You got to buy the glossary, the thesaurus of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. That was my annoyance with the new sequel trilogy, is they weren't telling us, the people that are paying money to watch these films in the theater, what was going on. We had to buy books for an explanation. And that's it's basically backwards what Marvel's doing. And that's the problem I have.
I don't disagree with that. But the one thing I want Kathleen Kennedy to utilize more, the one strength she has, Feige does not have, is the fact that you've done every conceivable thing you could do with the Skywalkers. I mean, every conceivable thing, right? So that means you have so much of Star Wars to play with. So I like that Favreau said, let's do this Disney Plus launch with a character that does not exist in the comic book, a timeline that does not exist in the comic book that we've not utilized. So that way, guess what? No one can complain about accuracy. This doesn't exist anywhere else. No, you don't have to worry about that.
It was brilliant.
That's why when they sprinkle in the stuff that matters, that's why it was so special to me when he first met Bo-Katan and she took her helmet off and he was highly offended. I love that because Favreau made up Mando's clique because Mandalorians always take their helmets off. So when he created a group of Mandalorians that don't, I'm like, this is hilarious because the Bo-Katan, she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We do nothing but take our helmets off. Why are you guys such barbarians that you don't? So that's what I'm saying. You could blend it so that people who don't know it feel welcomed and people who do know it feel appreciated. That's what I'm saying. WandaVision found a way to do that, to where if you've never read a comic book, you had no idea what was happening, who Agnes was, but it was for us. And then we made it a big thing. It trended and it brought everyone else in. So that's why I'm saying to do that doesn't nullify you maximizing business. It only enhances it. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead, Trayvon. You've been trying to jump in. Go ahead.
Okay, so you're using the WandaVision example. For me, you can't. I feel like you can't do that because we've had 10 years of movies that led up to those Disney Plus shows. That's what made us excited for them in the first place. Like, I just don't. For Mandalorian, for me, when I started watching that was very much. I had no idea what this was. I just know it's Star Wars, and that's it. Like, I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know who Bo-Katan was. Like, I didn't know none of these people when I was watching it. I was like, okay, who is this person? I don't know. Like, I don't understand who this is. But for me with WandaVision, I knew who Vision and Wanda were before I saw the show. So it wasn't like a brand new thing for me. I just don't think you can compare the two things. To me, I don't know. I don't see them as equal. It's not, you can't do that. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it that way.
I do believe if you know Star Wars and you know the lore of Star Wars, nothing about the Mandalorian was off guard except for the fact that that specific character in his bloodline is something that does not exist. But Mandalorians, you 100% know. WandaVision, you have no idea who Agnes is. You have no idea about the whole.
No, I didn't know. I know. I'm not talking about that. Wasn't the point of the show, though.
A lot of, like, I can't tell you how many people kept saying, oh, that's just Yoda. That's Yoda's son. That's not Yoda's son. That is a race.
I thought it was Yoda.
That's my point. So I'm saying,
I'm just saying
it leads to what I'm saying of, if you know Star Wars, you know good and well, that's a race of aliens.
I didn't know that.
Not just Yoda, and then Yoda had a kid, and then that kid had a kid.
It didn't help that they called him Baby Yoda. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that didn't help either, but they only did. Right. Yeah.
I feel like you could. Baby Yoda. I feel like you could watch. I feel like you could watch Mandalorian. You can watch Mandalorian without knowing anything. WandaVision, I don't feel the same way. WandaVision, I don't feel like you watch it without knowing anything.
I think you can say that for a lot of Marvel, though. I think you could say that for a lot of Marvel. There's a lot of stuff you could just watch to enjoy, but you don't know a lot of the small things. Mandalorian was the same thing. Again, I told you, Mando, aka Din Djarin, in his race of Mandalorians, do not exist in anything Star Wars. Everything else around him was accurate to Star Wars lore. That's what I'm saying. So you could watch WandaVision not knowing Agnes, but knowing Wanda and Vision, but not having any idea about anything else.
Can you watch it?
I know people that did.
Yes.
I mean nothing.
Yes, I just had to tell someone a list of movies to watch before trying to go and enjoy Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, could they have walked in there?
Not watch it.
Could they have walked in there not seeing any of the old movies? And I won't say specific ones so it doesn't spoil it for some people who haven't seen it. Yeah. Will you enjoy it the same? No. I can't tell you how many people went to go see Infinity War and Endgame and hadn't watched not one Marvel.
Oh my God, I've heard that before. I'm like, oh.
So I'm saying with Marvel, it's the same thing. Can you? Yes. Should you? Of course.
It hurt me.
Or Logan. How do you go see Logan and not watch any of the other X-Men? You know, it's
My
same
point
thing.
exactly.
You
So
feel
let me ask
nothing.
you-
Yeah,
let-
you feel nothing.
Let me ask you this though. You're saying that the Mandalorian was successful for two reasons. One, because it was a made-up character that we didn't know.
Mhm.
And it was also an area that we haven't been to yet. Remember, we never been in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. So we didn't really know what was going on at that time.
I mean, there's some stories, but it gets very muddy on what's still
Exactly.
canon and what's not canon. So that's why I said it is somewhat unknown territory.
It is
But the
unknown.
same thing,
True.
applies to the sequel trilogy. I mean, that's more unknown than anything. That was 30 years into the future. They had so much. They also had creative. They could have
They
done
did.
more creative and more. And that's my point. They didn't. That's why Favreau and Filoni should get the credit, because yes, they are playing around not only with the timeline that is great because nobody really knew what happened except for books or whatever, but
Mhm.
they did it in a great way. And then you had the sequel trilogies in an area that nobody really knew anything. Those were completely made up.
Yeah, that was just before anything Star Wars existed.
30,
before.
30
It's
years.
like,
is
yeah,
a
you don't
long
literally
time.
know.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Right.
Fun fact. When the Force Awakens was coming out, never watched anything Star Wars ever before that. I watched 4, 5, and 6, and then watched it. I'm just telling you,
That
just
speaks
let
to
you guys know.
exactly what you were speaking against. You went into a movie barely knowing anything.
I watched
Hey,
I
I
watched
don't-
it before.
You
Force
watched the
Awakens.
original
I
trilogy.
watched the original trilogy before.
That's all that matters.
I was like,
I don't
yeah,
want to.
did
I want
do
to
that.
date myself. I've been watching it since the 70s. So
I'm almost there.
So-
Early 80s.
I will say, long story less long is if you guys can go back and watch what has come before, I do suggest it only because there's small, little, minute things that you will see, and someone next to you will be throwing their popcorn in the air that you're looking at and having absolutely no idea what you're looking at.
as long as they just don't make every movie 4 hours long, because they got to make sure that they get all the little details in and make sure you know where it comes from, I'm good. As long as you don't overdo the source material and make it a freaking Lord of the Rings movie to where it's 54 hours long, I'm
Well,
good.
I'll say that depends, because if you're ending a trilogy and you're trying to compact everything from day one
Split into
into
two
that,
movies. Split into two
I'll give
movies.
you I'll give you
Turn it
Endgame.
into
That what was that? That was a 3-hour movie, right?
What?
So I mean, yeah, it was a
What?
little more than 3 hours if I'm not mistaken.
Endgame?
So yeah,
3.5. Yeah, 3.5.
yeah,
Yeah.
3.5. So yeah, I'll give you that 1,000%. But that was an 11-year, like a straight 11-year culmination.
but that's what
All
I'm
right.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that, especially with the disconnect and introducing the new characters in the most recent trilogy of Star Wars, you don't need to extend and prolong. So like we were talking about, the Kathleen Kennedy thing with the source material, complete bullshit. 1,000%. I don't think anyone can disagree with that, because like you just stated, you have Filoni and Favreau, right? They made up a whole universe. They made it all up. And guess what? They have a set piece, and they are using 3 set pieces with Boba, Ahsoka, and Bo-Katan.
Oh.
All right. So you had 3 set pieces. You had the freaking Skywalkers in this recent trilogy, man. You had the Skywalkers, you had Han Solo, you had Chewie. I mean, dude, that's bullshit. Complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't give me that source material crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you sound like me. Anytime Kathleen talks, that's usually how frustrated I get.
Well, this is the first time I've ever been like talking Star Wars on a podcast, so I kind of getting fired up about it. So this is awesome.
No, I am with you, man. I often hear Kathleen, and I'm like, and Joel could attest this. I'm like, I always defend you, but you say some stuff that I just go, Kathleen, like,
You're like, stop,
Kathleen,
stop,
don't say
stop,
that.
stop.
like, oh no, please, no, don't say that. But no, so I'm very excited to see what Star Wars has coming. Obviously, we know once this ends, not long after, it will be Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
We still have literally.
Oh, that's the next one.
I
Yeah,
think
that-
so.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
next.
That'll be the next Star Wars.
Okay. I wanted to be
We literally have no information on anything about Ahsoka outside of a few characters that's going to be in it. That's literally all we know.
Also
That's
very
it.
exciting.
Yes.
That's right.
There's
I don't think there's
nothing's going to compare to that to me.
I don't think there's a project coming up that I'm not anticipating from the series point of view. Because as far as movies go, we're probably not going to see a movie within the next at least 2 years. I'm assuming, right?
No.
Probably longer than that.
If I had to make a guess,
maybe 3.
make a guess,
2025
at least.
Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie will probably be our first time back in the theaters for a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
Unless they take precedence on whatever this big movie
Along
is
with the
that they
next Thor movie
moved,
does well.
that they moved what's her name out of the way for to do.
Oh yeah, the
Rogue Squadron.
Jedi,
Yeah,
not Jedi
Rogue-
Academy, Rogue Squadron,
Rogue
Yeah,
Squadron.
Jedi Academy.
Which I was very excited for.
Oh no, you know what I was thinking of? That's right. Rogue was moved and may possibly cancel. I was thinking of the other one that Gina Carano was supposed to be in.
No, that was a show. That was a
Yeah.
show.
Oh, that was a show too? Okay.
Yeah, that was a show. That was a show. They just
Yeah,
scrapped
what
that all together.
Yeah.
Rangers.
Did they?
Yeah, the Rangers. Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They scrapped the whole show. Oh, okay.
Rangers of the New Republic or something like that.
Yeah. something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some shit like that.
So wait, I just want, and we're getting out of here, but Patchy said something that really caught me off
People.
guard. I don't want to grace by it.
What happened?
You're saying nothing will compare to the Ahsoka show? Is that
Well,
what you
don't
said?
get me wrong. Like I said, since the 70s,
He is correct. He is very correct.
Hold on, let him.
I never thought unless you can get Harrison Ford to do a Han Solo series, possibly not. And I never thought I would say that I would fall in love with the character. And I love Obi-Wan, man. Obi-Wan is,
You're getting Hayden though too. You're not just getting Obi, you're getting Hayden Christensen in
But
there
you're
too.
getting Hayden and Ahsoka
Right.
also, so
right.
that
But
doesn't lean one way or the other.
I don't think I've ever fallen in love with a Star Wars character so quickly and so intensely as I have with Ahsoka.
Yes,
And watching Rosario play her is, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's my spirit animal, man. It's cool.
And you know what's funny, and I always look back at this, and shout out to my my good friend Greg, because he used to always tell me when I watched Star Wars: The Clone Wars live, he used to always lean over each episode Ahsoka was in. You know she's gonna die, right? You know she's gonna die, right? Speaking to the fact that because it came after Revenge of the Sith and there was no Padawan, that clearly it's because he didn't have one. She died at some point, which is why I love Filoni leaving Clone Wars the way that he did. So it lines up right with the actions of Clone Wars and then Revenge of the Sith. But I loved Ahsoka from the movie. I've always loved Ahsoka because she was just so Anakin. She was like his daughter. And I love the relationship that they had. So as I'm going through and then it ends, I never thought I'd see Ahsoka again, right? Because I'm like, well, this is a cartoon. They're not going to bring it in live action. Then they continue it. Then you get the Mandalorian. And it's like, bro, Ahsoka is just amazing. So I'm with you. The only thing that would take precedence over that, I got to see what Acolyte is. I have to just see what it is. Sith is everything to me.
Yeah.
Everything
same.
about the Sith is everything to me.
Same.
So it's like, well, what are you going to do? That's the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think you would have been way better if you just gave us a Bane. Give us Bane. Give us Bane. Give us literally anybody else than who I think they're about to give us. And you would have done a way better job with this Acolyte show. So I need to see who the Sith Lord is that they're using. Because apparently the rumored story is it's someone who's defecting away from being a Sith. So it's like, well, then what? You gonna make me root for the bad guys in the show? like what? So you're gonna be somewhere in the middle? You don't want to kill, but you're not a Jedi? It's weird. So that's the only thing in my mind that'll be right there. And then of course I'm waiting for Force Unleashed to get made canon again, so I can get that in live action. That's all I'm waiting for. That's it.
I only had crickets.
I'm just saying, if I could get Star Killer in live action, that's it. That takes precedence.
I only had that soundbite.
And it's very possible.
I'm just saying.
He could do it, right? He could still do it, right? He could.
1,000%.
Yeah.
The likeness is his face.
Well, I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll still do it.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it works anymore.
It 1,000% works. You have to retcon a few things, but that's Star Wars. They've retconned worse. Or they should retcon worse. Those last 3 fucking movies.
Last 2.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Force Awakens was fine.
I like the characters.
I'd maybe still like Han to be alive. That's just
Yeah, I was all right, but Han was the only one I was all right with dying because he wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back.
And we have to stop giving Harrison Ford power. You don't get to dictate that. You MFer. You don't get to be Indiana Jones, so they put you in a
old
casket.
as fuck right
You don't
now.
get to
really like.
You don't get
You're
to
already
be
bitching that he's coming back as Indiana Jones.
Hey,
so like,
every this whole show and everything you're talking about, everything that you love is because of Harrison Ford.
Pretty much.
I don't disagree, but again, you can't be tied. You can't just be tied to that. Like, I want to reboot it. Stop telling me I can't reboot it, Harrison. God damn it. To me in a fucking walker trying to do jumps off shit. Just relax. Go rest. You have enough money. God, give me Air Force One Part 2. Anyway,
He's gonna play it until it's Indiana Bones.
that's what he's
There
gonna
you
do.
go.
That's how they're gonna end it. Indiana Bones. Indiana Bones.
I'd watch that.
My
Well,
fear is
I actually did see that on Pornhub.
Jesus Christ.
Aw.
My
Yeah.
Boo.
My
Wow.
only fear is though, Joe, is that like
Terrible.
when you look at the last Die Hard that Bruce Willis did, it made me not want to see anything else Die Hard. I never thought I could feel that, but that movie was that atrocious.
Which
I
that was
don't-
what, A Good Day to Die Hard. Is that
Yeah.
that one with the son?
With
Okay.
his son, yes.
Okay.
So I don't want
It
Harrison
was right
Ford
though.
to keep
It's a good day
doing
to die hard.
it. Was
They're gonna do
that
the
whole
same
franchise
thing.
is Die Hard. So I don't want Harrison Ford to run Indiana Jones into the ground to where we just don't want to see anything else. That's why I'm like, yeah, the
I'm gonna
perfect
watch
time
it.
to-
Very, very
mean,
curious how
It's
gonna
a
play.
name. I mean, you can't really pass it on. So maybe this is the
But
last one.
No,
I'm also-
I don't want you to pass it on. I want you to reboot it.
I'm
want
telling you
younger.
though.
Didn't
I'm
they try
telling-
that already? Kind of.
I told you though, when it comes to, and I know I feel differently. I know you're into reboots and whatever. When it comes to iconic characters, it's hard for me, and this is personal. Maybe some people can agree with me or not, but you got movies like Indiana Jones, like Die Hard, especially. If you give me a movie, whether it's now or 10 years from now, called Die Hard, and it's not John McClane or it's not Bruce Willis playing that role, I don't want to watch it. It might be
Still
good,
be John McClane. That's what I'm saying. I don't
No,
want it to
I
be
know.
a continuation.
but Bruce
Just
Willis
reboot it.
is, but that's my point. Bruce Willis is John McClane.
John McClane.
Harrison
And I get you.
Ford is Indiana
But-
Jones.
But do you remember my point anytime we talk reboots? It's not for you. It's for whoever this new generation is who's never seen Die
But
Hard.
then-
Yeah,
Yeah.
just why I hate episodes 1, 2, and 3 because
Make a different
it
film
was
then.
for your generation.
That's not fair.
And I was, I was a 4, 5, and 6 guy. I mean
Make a
that's
different.
I'm gonna
That's
say this.
not a
I'm gonna say
bad
this.
call.
I'm gonna say this till I die. That's not fair because if you told me the only Scarface movie I had was the original Scarface movie and not the reboot, I would tell you throw that whole thing in the
Wasn't that like 60 years later though?
Yeah.
When did the first Die Hard come out? How much more long are you gonna make us wait, Joe?
Yeah, but when did the last
came
Die
out
Hard
in
come out?
1987.
Because they keep
1988.
holding on to your
sorry.
thought process of it could only be Bruce Willis. So they'll just keep putting Bruce Willis
I
in
don't
it.
Because
need
hold
that.
on a second. Hold on a second. You're talking about a standalone film that came out like 100 years ago compared to a franchise. We've had Bruce Willis play that role in
Mhm.
5 movies.
Right?
We've had
Yes.
Harrison Ford play this role for the last 40 years in now, which is going to be now 5 films.
Mhm.
It's the same thing with Marty McFly. I can't picture anybody else playing Marty McFly, although Tom Holland did a great imitation of it, other than Michael J. Fox. There's just certain characters. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. There's certain characters to me.
I can easily take The
Stallone.
Rock.
Stallone playing Rocky Balboa. Can you watch
I
a
can take
Rocky
The Rock.
Balboa reboot without it being Sylvester
Nope.
Stallone? That's not Rocky.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see Rocky without
But
Stallone. Like,
What I'm trying to say is I get you guys because it's a personal attachment. I understand that. I'm saying reboots only exist for people who do not have
and
that.
for one, when you hit puberty in the movie, they start rebooting your movies. You'll feel the same way.
It's
I
true.
won't. I'm for reboots. So I won't change my mind. I'm for
I
reboots.
like reboots as well. So
I've even said I want a Godfather reboot. I don't mind.
That's horrible.
We
Oh my
have-
God.
You
we have
shut your
perfect-
damn mouth right now.
We have a
they're
perfect
they're
director
going
in
to
Martin
reboot
Scorsese.
everything.
That's
They're
There
gonna
is-
reboot everything.
Guys, and is
Everything's
it
gonna be rebooted.
maybe because and I don't know, how many times can you do the same thing over and tweak it and make it a little different and just make it contemporary? Where are the new ideas? Where are the Star Wars? Where are the Star Treks? Where are the, I mean, hell, shows like, even let's go
Those things
comedies,
don't
like,
get
like Stripes, 40
those
Year Old
things
Virgin,
don't
like
get accepted.
original
Those
stuff.
things don't
You're
get
not-
allowed.
But yes, that is true, Trayvon. You're not wrong,
The
Patches,
problem.
but I saw 3 different versions of Spider-Man and none of them are the same.
But
It's not a-
Spider-Man is the most played out character in Marvel, though.
It's not though. They're different each time. Batman is different each time.
Dude, I'm looking at Joel's screen right here. Joel, and he just agreed. He's the most played out character. They've done the most, right?
I love Spider-Man to death. But yeah,
yes,
they'll
Thank
milk
you.
that cow till it's blue.
Exactly.
But it's still selling. Though. Look, it just made $1 billion.
I know.
It's never not going to make money.
But in the same breath, imagine them reboot. Well, they are going to reboot it, I guess. When Miles is what do you call it? Now he'll be the Spider-Man, I guess, of that. Maybe Sony, or if that's how they're going to do whatever. So we are going to get a different Spider-Man, but that's not a reboot. That's a completely different character, and that's fine.
That's
an extension.
No, I'm saying from Toby to Andrew to
it's like
to
Creed.
Tom, those are
Creed
3
and Rocky.
reboots. That's what I'm speaking to. I'm not talking a continuation. We've
Right.
had 3 reboots, and none of them were the same.
Well, hold on a second though. Why do we have a reboot after Garfield? Because the movie's tanked. It wasn't because they said, you know what?
Okay,
We're doing
now we're
pretty
talking
good.
about if they're successful. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about reboots exist, and I'm fine with the reboots. Some things just need to be rebooted.
Guys, just remember, you cannot.
So Indiana
reboot-
Jones 5 bombs.
No, go ahead,
it's
Trayvon.
okay. If Indiana Jones 5 bombs, it's okay. Is that what you're saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what we're saying. It's okay to reboot then.
No, because you can't have anyone but Harrison Ford play the character of Indiana Jones.
And I think we will forever say that till we see it. We've said that about Hugh Jackman. We will continue to say that till we see it.
I don't think that holds with comic book character. That's not.
No. That, and I agree 100% with you, Joel. And guys, and just
now we're zipping the comic book movies. Got it. Okay, all right.
But I mean, comic book, because it holds what Joel says holds the most weight, because comic book movies and comic books by definition and through history, they have different incarnations of the, I mean, like, look at, the Infinity War series. I mean, how many generations of mutants do you have? But they're all the same characters, but it's different generations and stuff like that. I mean, so it's so much easier to do with a comic book movie, as opposed to what Joe was saying, when you take an iconic character of a franchise, the Indiana Jones, the Marty McFlys, the Marlon Brandos, the guys like that. It's completely different. All right. I mean, like, personally, think, can you ever imagine them rebooting the Tooth Fairy without Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
No, I could definitely.
You 1,000% could do that. Whoever the next big guy is.
Wow.
He personifies. He personifies.
So funny.
You even said Terminator, Joe, and it's like, do I not think
what a movie that
at
was?
some point could have made an intriguing Terminator? 1,000%. Will it ever be good as Arnold's? No, but it's not supposed to be as good.
Look,
you're supposed to set a new standard for a new group of audience.
The best thing you can say about reboots is they will happen, but you'll never lose what you had. We can always go back to that. You can
always go. It doesn't. To Joel's point, it doesn't ruin. It doesn't take away from the franchise of what came before. That's not my point. It doesn't. It doesn't give it. It doesn't discredit it or whatever. But I'm just saying, to what Patches was saying, it's literally just create something different. And there are, look, I get it. There are, like you said, Joanna, a while back, where what happens when somebody tries to give you a different film or a creative film.
Go see it.
Well, I mean,
nobody go see it.
It's a laziness that we have put on ourselves. Right?
Bro,
we're a lazy society, guys.
I will say this.
We just are.
I will say this. The Green Knight came out this year. Right. And again, it came out during at COVID's peak. So I get it. But it came out and literally no one with its theatrical and its at-home release talked about that movie. Why? No one gave a fuck. Why? Because they have no idea what that's about. They have no idea who he is. Is he King Arthur? No, I don't care. I don't care what this is. It looks interesting. I'm not going to go see it.
I have a great example of this. Power Rangers.
Oh, perfect.
Power Rangers movie.
Yep.
Like,
Can't reboot that franchise.
That was a reboot, completely different.
Yeah.
No one supported it.
Wasn't that
I'm
good?
just saying, we live in a
Hurt me
society
so bad.
where
Hurt
we
me,
want
man.
new things, we want new shiny things, we get it, and then we go, oh, that was
Still got more Power Rangers.
Yeah. The
easiest
reboots
things
is
to
like Christmas
reboot-
morning when you're a kid. It really is like, oh my gosh, the toy I wanted, and
Well,
like
look,
literally 2 days later, oh,
I
it's like in the toy box somewhere.
I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
I
You didn't like the
hated reboot.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it wasn't that I didn't want a reboot. I just thought they could have done a way better job.
Exactly. I mean, and that's a good
That's
example
all
because
I'm
it's not
saying.
like
That's all I'm saying.
So they will go back. So
it's not like I
That's all I'm
needed
saying.
Peter. It is Peter Weller, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not like the other thing is too, and it almost goes to what I was saying about horror films, like Jason and Michael Myers. You can reboot those movies all you want because you never see
Yeah.
a face. So
Right.
there's no iconic character pinned to those.
Right.
Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger was different though, because of the impact he had
Yep.
as the
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger character.
Even
Even
though
though
the
he was
scar,
But to what Joel just said, though, my issue with that movie wasn't that it was rebooted and you didn't have the iconic actor. The issue with that
It's
was
bad.
the movie just wasn't good.
exactly. Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying. I want to give it the chance for it to possibly be good. Maybe it could be good,
But
but
I'm
I'm
saying
open to it. Is all I'm
Look
saying.
at Point
Where
Break. They
reboots-
rebooted
One
Point
movie I am
Break. That
against.
was terrible. Fast and the Furious was a better reboot.
where reboots fail
is true.
generally.
Wait, what
I
was
think-
it?
What? Yeah. What was
Thank
it?
you.
I said
What
Point
did you
Break.
say?
Point Break was a terrible. They made a
oh.
reboot of Top. I said Fast and
Right.
the Furious was a better reboot.
I'm just saying. I get what you guys are
Right.
saying to end this. I get what you guys are saying. I'm just saying. I personally, don't have one movie that I would be against them trying an alternative take to.
Back to the
And I
Future.
can
Well, I think Fast and Furious is a good example of that because it was a take similar to Point Break, but it did its own version of it. And look, it
Mhm.
became a fucking giant franchise. It became its
It
own.
did.
That's
I
fine.
know.
thing.
That's fine. So you can take elements of certain things and
Yeah.
fix it
And
up
make it your
rework
own.
it and make it your own. That's all I'm saying. I don't have any movie franchise that I am tied down to saying I wouldn't be interested to see what someone else's viewpoint
Back
of
to
it.
the Future.
That's all I'm saying.
But
I've
to your
never seen
point,
Back to the Future, so I
As
don't
soon
have
as,
that.
as soon as the
Make a
name
new
of the
one.
movie gets attached to it, that's when the problems come.
But
Like,
to
it
your
could be something
point,
similar.
I mean, even you said, Juwan, most reboots aren't that great. So why would you waste your time, effort, money taking the lazy way out as opposed to, hey, let's all try to create something new, Fast and Furious, point and case.
Perfect
right?
example. Perfect example to defend that. There was a lot of bad X-Men movies, but I was very open to what Matthew Vaughn wanted to do, getting out of that world and doing something new. If I had thought that way, I would have said, these all suck. I don't ever want to see X-Men again. It won't open me up to it. And what do you know? Matthew Vaughn, 2 back-to-back really good ones. They then shit the bed, but I gave them the opportunity to shit the bed, and they gave me 2 good movies that I could sink my teeth in. So I'm open to doing it and just seeing what it is. If it's bad, it's bad. But I don't want to ridicule everybody from having the opportunity to do it because theirs might be good.
It might sound
all I'm
like
saying.
I'm being what's the word, contradictory or whatever, but I agree with Patches in where when it comes to superhero movies, I think they might be the exception to the rule though. For some reason, I don't know. I've always been okay with getting 3 or 4 different Batmans. It never really bothered me that, we had Keaton play 2, we had Bale play 3, but obviously Kilmer and Clooney. We've had so many different Batmans, but it never bothered me because I always accepted that at one point somebody's going to take on the role. And
Right.
none of them, maybe, I don't know, maybe Keaton did, but none of them really stuck with me growing up except for Keaton. But you have these other films, like I said, and I don't want to say the same thing over too many times, that they just become iconic and they become the character personified. And I don't think it happens when it comes to either Marvel or DC characters because they're interchangeable.
It
That makes any
shouldn't.
sense.
It does
Because
happen,
because it's original.
Right.
But that
And-
because they're original, they don't have, like the quote unquote source material that we've been talking about, right?
Right.
And if they do, whatever source material they're pulling for that movie is like a novel, or a story, and
Right.
that's it. It's not like Joe was saying earlier, decades upon decades of source material they could pull from and do it whatever incarnation that you want to pull from or pull from all
Right.
of them.
It's not
That's
James
fair,
Bond. It's not Jack Ryan.
Mhm.
Where you
That's
need that
fair.
James Bond's the other one. James Bond, perfect example, Joel, is that we know that after 3 or 4 movies, if that, sometimes less with Timothy Dalton, but after a few movies, you get another Bond, and I'm all right with that.
Fair. But the time we live in, there's 2 types of movies we get. We get the retirement home guys coming back, or we're getting it rebooted. And if I had to choose, I want to go with the new and improved. I don't want to see Jerry.
To me, that's when you stop. See, to me, I'm in the other way. That's when you stop it and just go to a different story.
Yep.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Joe? Do you know what? Let's
then you
shake
don't get
hands
the
here.
audience.
Let's shake hands here. You ready for this? Just stop fucking doing all these old movies. Stop doing them.
Done.
You know what? If you stop doing those old movies, I won't ask for reboots.
Matrix 4, perfect example. Was that a movie that you think we needed?
It's a shitter. No. But what did I tell you? That movie would have been a success if it did. If it rebooted itself, gave someone a whole new outlook on the world of the Matrix. Instead, they do what you guys want to do. You can't let go of Keanu. You can't let go of Carrie Ann Moss. And it was a shitter. There you go. That's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Can you reboot John Wick already?
No.
Still fresh.
but
that's still happening. That's still happening.
That's a good point, Joe.
There were a couple of franchises.
No.
There were a couple of franchises just recently where it only took 2 years to reboot, and they weren't superhero movies. I want to think about that. I'm like, wait a minute. How are they rebooting it?
Were they good? Because you usually don't reboot good. Were they
I
good?
thought they were. I really, off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but John Wick would be a perfect example. How long before you replace Keanu Reeves?
Oh, at least 20 years. When you reboot
but that's what I'm saying. It's not even
done
done yet,
is still
Joe.
ongoing.
Indiana Jones is still going on.
No.
That's their fault.
Dragging Indiana Jones along. You're dragging this man.
They should have stopped after last.
That's all on Harrison
sorry.
Ford. He wouldn't
Yeah, again, John Wick was relatively new. So if you told me in 10 years you wanted to reboot John Wick, I could accept it. But if you told me 3 years from now you're rebooting a movie that's not even done yet, I would say, oh, that's a stretch.
There's another one coming out. You can't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can't reboot now.
No. That wouldn't be called rebooting. That's recasting at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly what that would be.
Well, I think the problem is we're rebooting good movies, like movies that were good. If you want to reboot shit, reboot the shit. You know, like reboot the shitty movies.
No, they want to reboot stuff that have the built-in fan base.
We got Dune now.
That's why they reboot them. That's why they reboot them.
Devon's making a perfect point. Say it again.
That's exactly why they reboot them, for the built-in fan base. They want that name. They want to pull people in. That's why they do it.
Again, lazy.
Well,
sure. And trust me, I'm the guy that just said, it's a business. I get it. It's a business. They're in the business to make money.
All right,
and that's what they do. But it doesn't mean it doesn't piss me off.
Hold on. So Crayon Dude is saying something. But last thing I want to say to you guys is, you guys think Jaws is a classic, right? Like undeniably,
you can't recast Jaws, bro. That shark
Jaws is a shark.
That's a shark. No.
Nobody has a fin like that.
No comment.
Can't recast the shark.
Time out. But
that's where I draw the line.
Right? Time out. But that movie was a classic, right?
Yeah,
Jaws was a classic.
It was. Yeah.
Here's my point. They did a movie called The Meg, and no one went out to go see it. So when they give you a whole different shark movie, that movie was at least.
Did you see it to say it was? Did you see it? You said it was bad. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see The Meg.
No, Joel. I'm asking Joel.
It was bad.
Bad shark. Okay.
I'm just saying, you asked for a different shark movie.
No, I did like the concept of a megalodon. That was cool.
All right.
No, I want different ideas. I don't regurgitate something that's already been done. The problem was something original.
You can't compare Jaws to Meg, because at this point, Jaws was the way Jaws was by first of all by accident, and second, it was about the mystery of not seeing the shark more than anything. Everything after that is you see the shark, so it's not really the same movie anymore. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. I do.
It's not the best comparison.
I do. Is Shia LaBeouf is not going to be in the new Indiana Jones. Is there a new
disown that child right after the movie?
Yeah, they 100% said, yeah, no, we're skipping the movie. Is there a new Scarface movie? I didn't really hate that movie. There's rumors of a new Scarface movie, yes.
There's always rumors of a new Scarface movie. Never get shit.
But no, actually Antoine Fuqua was attached to it.
Let me get that trailer first.
Would be funny to see Jake Paul as Rocky. you know what? You're joking, but in 30 years from now, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Don't you
In
ever?
30
Oh,
years
you're
from
right.
now,
That's gonna happen.
That is the most
going to happen.
disrespectful
That is
thing
That is
I have
going
ever
to
heard.
happen.
That's
in my
100%
entire life.
That
Yeah,
will
but
be
then
the
you would-
day. That will be the day I stop watching
Yeah,
anything
wouldn't
on the
call it-
screen.
You
That
wouldn't
would be
call
the
it
most
Rocky though. You wouldn't call it
disrespectful
Rocky.
You got, yeah.
Yes,
'cause
they
it's
will.
a
They will
reboot of
absolutely
it.
call
They
it Rocky.
100%
They will
call it Rocky.
absolutely call it Rocky.
100%. Yes. You guys,
Absolutely.
No.
here's the thing. You guys don't have to like it, but that is a very
No.
realistic.
Here's the thing. I think he owns the rights to Rocky. I don't think it works that way.
30
Yeah.
years from now, hopefully I won't be here. So
Word.
He's like, I'm out. I'm
Like,
done.
okay.
You guys can enjoy Jake Paul's Rocky reboot.
I'll admit one thing that I absolutely feel like can never be rebooted, and that is Harry Potter. I will admit that right now. That is the bit I never touch it.
That will fall
Never
in
do
the same category.
Never
as
do it again. I'll admit
everything
that.
else.
I'll be a
I
hypocrite right
don't.
now. I'll be a
I,
hypocrite.
I love
Never
Never
I
Harry
touch
love,
it. Never
I
touch
love
it.
Harry Potter as much as you do, Trayvon. But if in 30 years, 20 years they reboot it,
They
I will be
will.
right there to watch.
and that's definitely something that probably will be rebooted.
1,000%. Especially, here's the thing: the older J.K. Rowling gets, the extremely more likely it is that if 50 years from now, God forbid, she's no longer here, they will reboot it up, down, left, right.
I mean, they have the rights to
backwards,
do
forward.
it. Yeah. So
They will do whatever they want. They
they
will
can just
strip that.
why
thing.
not just extend the story? Why not just make it
They
about the
I
legacy?
don't want that. I want
if they
you
were gonna do that, they should have did that a long time
Regurgitate.
ago.
They should have been doing that now. I mean, now's
should
the
have done that
time
a
to
long
build
time
out
ago.
that world.
Well,
honestly.
she's written other books.
Yeah, well, we're getting those movies, but
All right. Crayon Dude says reboot John Wick maybe in 15 years. Yeah, it just can't be anytime.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fine.
don't even
Yeah.
think 15.
still too soon.
Yeah.
He
they-
also said, yeah, reboot the crappy movies for the purpose of redemption. 100% agree with you, Cran, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
problem is,
yeah,
can you
no,
remember
bad
everything?
movies, of course.
No,
Yeah,
We're
reboot
talking about
everything.
classics. Classics.
They're not
you
gonna
don't wanna touch.
they're not gonna reboot bad movies. They already were bad and didn't get the views. They're
All
not
right,
gonna
hold on.
do that.
LOL,
Reboot
Juwan's LOL, Juwan's got a good point. Right now, Jake Paul as Rocky sounds ridiculous. 30 years from now, it probably doesn't matter. So let's take into account what Joel's saying that Sylvester Stallone owns it. No problem. Let's take that completely out of it. I am just saying the likelihood that a man that seems utterly ridiculous right now will not be utterly ridiculous to the children that are 15 right now. That's all I was saying. But
No,
I get your
not-
point, Joel, that a studio doesn't own it. He does. No problem. I get you.
Just call it something different, though. You don't have to call it Rocky. We can do this the Jake Paul story.
What if
or
I understand what
That
you're
is
saying.
not the same
I
story.
understand.
Saki.
What's a quote from Spaceballs coming up? Rocky 5.
Ro-
1,000.
Rocky 5,000.
Rocky
There you go.
5,000.
All right. Nothing else. We can go ahead and get out of here. They'll probably
cool,
reboot Harry
cool.
Potter's and Lord of the Rings in 20 years or something. Yeah.
What are we doing? Well,
Well, we're doing Lord of the Rings, but it's not.
all right, what
gonna
about
Lord of
the
the Rings is
original?
a show, right?
What
Yeah.
about
Is that a reboot?
be- No, it's a different time period.
what about the
okay.
entire Skywalker saga? Do you reboot that at one point?
Yeah, when you stop fucking giving me Skywalker movies, you can
There's a
reboot.
point of me that would love to see a
Christ.
reboot of that. Like to
Goodness
see it, at
gracious.
least like
I
with-
just
with
want a
new
reboot of the
graphics.
sequel trilogy.
With new technology.
No, you know what?
Yeah, with
I
new
would,
technology. it'd be
because
cool.
here's the thing. If you're Kathleen Kennedy, the perfect time is 10 years from now, and just use Mark Hamill. Just use Mark Hamill. Boom, it works out. Works out perfectly.
Excuse me,
Works
what?
out perfectly.
Mark
To
Hamill for
reboot
what?
it is what I'm saying. It's to reboot it.
Reboot what? What are you talking
To
about?
reboot Star. He was saying to reboot the Skywalker saga.
For the original Skywalker.
Right. Yeah.
And you said
Yeah.
use Mark Hamill again.
No, I'm sorry, not Mark Hamill. I meant
Oh my God.
to me they're the same person. I meant
Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, what are you
Um,
talking
like-
about?
But
I was
this
like-
time-
gonna work.
But
Mark
guess
Hamill's
what?
70.
But see, time
I
out.
was
But
waiting to pounce on that. I was like, oh, please keep going. Please keep going.
Here's the benefit for whoever they reboot that for. They would get the shit in order, so it'd make a whole lot more sense to them when they get it. They go, oh, child, adult.
Well,
die.
here's the thing. At that point, you don't play with what you got. You just kind of remake it. You don't play like, oh, we gotta try something new. No, you stick to what what's good. Fix
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm with it. I'm open to it. And if it sucks, it sucks. But at least we gave someone an opportunity. And look, if they reboot it and it sucks, guess what? It'll never come back. It'll just never come. There'll
Oh,
never
no.
be a time where
Give them more, and then give
I
them.
don't
Why
think
would
they'll
you
ever
sully the
allow it
legacy of something amazing?
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever reboot it, but it's something I definitely would love to see modernized. It'd be cool.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Give them more force powers.
What?
Well, the lightsaber battles are a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, I'm with you
Crayon
on
Dude
that.
says for you, Joe. Crayon Dude says they'll probably CGI Stallone's face like they did with Tarkin and Rogue.
Yeah,
So we get Rocky 97.
Let Stallone go. Just let him
Tarkin
go.
was different. Tarkin was like,
Yeah, and Joe, I tell you what, when they CGI Stallone's face for Rocky 19, just remember it's you. The reason why we're still getting that shit, okay?
they got
It's
a what are you talking about for
sitting there
Rocky?
saying, hold on to that.
For Rocky 19,
Hold on to that.
they're gonna have to Stallone. They're gonna have to CGI Stallone's face in Expendables 4.
that is
I mean,
true.
the guy's 80 years old and he's still doing it.
Does melt.
I
Him and Mickey
respect
Rourke's
that,
face
man.
do melt per movie, so that's for sure. Yeah.
Wait, didn't he? Never mind.
Mad Max Fury Road is like the best reboot in my opinion. There you go.
That wasn't a reboot, technically.
It wasn't a reboot in the sense of it was exactly what the first one was, but it was a reboot of that whole world.
It wasn't a reboot
The
at all.
reason why I'm okay with that was Mel Gibson, as big as an actor as he is back then, really wasn't. He was an unknown, and that was a very B or maybe even like a C movie. For the first one, especially, like the first one was very
cheap as fuck,
very cheap in production, whatever. It was not
mariachi cheap.
Yeah.
Mariachi.
So Fury, you look at Fury Road. I mean, that's just a beautiful film.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So,
but I don't think I look at it as more of a continuation than a reboot.
I don't know. What's his name has always been very sketchy on what it actually is. He hasn't come out and said left.
You can't call it a reboot because it wasn't like a new origin story. It's just still living his fucking life in the desert. What's going on?
There.
It was a recast.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, 90 year
guy.
Gap.
They got a younger guy.
90-year gap is recast. Yeah. All right, guys. I want to thank Patches and KJ briefly. KJ was on. Patches and KJ. Make sure you check out Kinda Nerdy Girls and Kinda Nerdy Dudes. Patches, what's going on this Friday? You guys got a finale or something going on this Friday?
I don't know yet. It's kind of a TBD. It's up in the air kind of thing. So we'll definitely keep you posted on the Kinda Nerdy Network, and Juan, you guys over at Geek Vibes have always been awesome partners with us and sharing and resharing back and forth the way we do, and we absolutely love you guys.
Absolutely. You guys are family. That's what family does, as Dominic Toretto would say. I'm curious what Dominic Toretto 30 years from now, will he still be family oriented or?
Well, no, he'll be
that's a pacifier too.
He'll play
pacifier.
Yes, a movie, man.
That's what we need.
Oh man, that's what we've been waiting for.
So good.
We need more Brad Garrett in a singlet. That's what we need.
That's what we need.
He'll be making a cameo in the Pitch Black reboot.
Oh man, Pitch Black.
That's I want to give a shout out to Just Your Average Joe. We just did a Batman trailer breakdown.
Yeah, a very quick one too. It was under an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Barely. Yeah. You know, Joel, he couldn't get me to shut up. Come on now.
I'm looking at the time now. I'm like, how the fuck we passed 2 hours?
Bro, I looked at it and it was 9. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wrap up.
I go down these rabbit holes.
But please make sure you check out Just Your Average Joe on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you guys are following him. Also, Friday, Joe, you have Book of Boba review and Matrix 4 trailer.
12 o'clock. Yeah, Boba is definitely that's cemented at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We might do, you and I, if you want, the 1 o'clock Matrix. Rightly after. I don't know. You didn't really like the film.
No. After this conversation, we're 100% doing it, so I can shit on continuation. So I'll be there. Huge shouts out to Joel, my brother. We just did Much to Do About Nothing. That episode is out now. We will be doing Figure It Out hopefully tomorrow. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And Trayvon always joins me for anything I'm just threatening him to join. So I want to thank Trayvon for always supporting me and joining me. But I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody. This is the last, well, it technically would have been Marvel Cinematic Review, but our last episode together of 2021. So I'm very curious what Book of Boba looks like in the future in 2022.
Right.
What
Yeah, I mean that's
you know,
so
Of a
far.
week from now.
Yeah. Am I gonna be on like a hoverboard? Like what's gonna happen? I don't know. I'm just so excited for the future.
Will the Cubs win the World Series? Oh shit!
See you next
Shit.
year.
Well, the
Uh,
Put some
Giants
money
won
on the Cubbies.
but no, seriously, I love all you guys: Dom, Tia, KJ, Patches, Joe, Pete, Joel, Trayvon, AJ, Ash, Shekinah, Jamie, Angel, Leo. I feel like I'm doing the Academy Award. Somebody play music so I can get off the stage. Anyway, thank you all for being part of our 2021 journey. We cannot wait for you guys to see what we have in store for 2022. Hoverboards, flying cars, all that stuff.
Jaws 19.
Cryo chambers.
Still waiting for that.
Godfather 4. Godfather 4 is coming. Can't wait for you guys to check it out.
The reboot,
But
it's just called The Godfather, Jerome.
no, it'd be Godfather 4, but a reboot. Trust me, I already have it
Can't
planned
do
out.
it, can't do it.
Scorpion King 2. Let's do it.
Trust me, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's already a Scorpion King. I think there's a Scorpion King 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. Goodness gracious. But thank you guys for joining us and being part of this journey. We can't wait to see you guys on the other side of 2021 in 2022. Have a safe and happy new year. Please be safe, okay? Please. Not gonna tell you what to put on, because I know, but be safe. Be safe here, right in this area. But all right, guys.
I thought you. Never mind.
Yeah.
Go as
Both
raw
of
as
those
you
things.
want.
Can you show
Wait
us
a
how to
minute.
put one on?
Wait a
Jordan?
minute.
Yeah, I
What
think
is
I have.
happening?
All right. So what you guys want to do is
Oh, wow.
Gotta get a banana.
That is
Let's
great.
get out of here. All right,
Love
guys.
it.
We'll see you next year. Till then, peace.